Welcome, everyone, back to the Fast Life podcast. Thank you for joining us today. And I want to thank our sponsors and everyone's favorite biker, Steve Chamberlain, who has a new business that he's been pushing this year, Screamin' Speed and Fab. Scream in without the G. They're offering FXR-style side covers for 2009 and up touring chassis, and soon to be offering for 2008 and down touring chassis. Check those out. We just painted a set. They're pretty rad. Immediate difference in the way your bike looks. He has other products always being innovated and soon to be released, like the skid plates being available soon. Use offer code KTFU if you don't know what that stands for. You need to hang out more. 13% off anything on the website, including swag and stickers. Screamin' Speed and Fab on Insta and screaminspeedandfab.com. No G in the screaming. Check them out. So I have had my 100% made in America Invisivin sticker cover. I don't know if that's the right word, sticker cover, on my bagger for over a year. And it works so well, I forget that it's there. For me, cleanliness on a bike is everything. And these Harleys from the factory come with some huge stickers that they slap on the down tube that becomes an eyesore, especially for me. This steel powder coated cover makes that go away instantly. And if you're getting hassled by the man, it's easy to pull off due to the N52 rare earth magnets. So it's going to be locked on while you smash miles or rip wheelies, but easy to pull off by hand. Covers start at $39.95, and make an immediate difference for those who like to ride hard and want to look good doing so. Head on over to Invisivin.com and throw that Fast Life offer code up. Save yourself 15% off and give these guys a follow on Instagram at Invisivin. Check them out. I am happy to announce that ThunderMax has generated an offer code to help you guys save on some industry-leading products and technology. Their ECM computers are designed to provide your EFI-equipped Harley-Davidson the most advanced auto-tuning available, meaning that this computer tunes your bike to the conditions in the air. Their iRide rear suspension system is a performance air ride rear suspension, giving you the ability to auto-adjust many aspects from the handlebar touchscreen that goes on your bike. It's a pretty awesome little setup. You need to check it out. Check out these products at shoptmax.com and use offer code FASTLIFE to save yourself 10% off, which ends up being quite a bit in the long run. And follow ThunderMax EFI on Instagram. Paint Huffer Metal Flake is the future of the custom paint industry, in my opinion. A company that's dedicated to bringing quality products for us custom painters to create art. And Paint Huffer is one of the most supportive paint-related companies out there with many artists on the team. You can get started down a custom paint path with some rad products from painthuffer.com, and you can always use FastLife13, I believe it is, for 10% off. And if you want to get some inspiration, you can go to Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram and check out the vast amount of works done by many artists from around the world. Check those guys out. As always, my dudes over at Lexan Moto, they're growing fast and looking to onboard new dealers this year. Their headsets and charging solutions are ideal in any type of motorcycle shop, big or small. And Lexan has dealer plans to meet your needs with products that make the riding experience better and more on the way. Lexan offers very competitive dealer margins, fast shipping, and great customer service. Email them at sales@lexanmotorcycle.com. And be sure to check them out on Facebook at Lexan Moto USA, on Instagram at Lexan Moto, and don't forget, on their website, lexan-moto.com, you can use Fast Life at checkout to save yourself 15% off your entire order. Check them out. SBC Performance, located in Savage, Minnesota. Their team is dedicated to get you ahead of the rest of the competition. Their shop specializes in in-house performance builds, cylinder head porting, machining, dyno tuning, and high-performance suspension. And if you're not in the Minnesota vicinity, head on over to sbcperformance.com to check out their new performance parts line, starting with their new crash bar, a.k.a. the Bro Bar, fitting 2009 to 2020 baggers. This performance crash bar has sleek lines and customizable end caps. And their 100% carbon fiber lower fairing spoiler, it's the first of its kind, fits 2015 to 2020 road glides to give your sexy, racy look. You know, I love those little lower fairings. Their new parts line is the next step in taking your plain Jane glide to a performance ride. Shop them at sbcperformance.com and give them a follow at SBC_performance on Instagram and SBC Performance on Facebook. And you can use offer code FASTLIFE for 10% off on their website. Check them out. My dude John Jessup and his shop in Stockton, California, it's the spot for in-house dyno tuning. Again, parts, service, and bike sales. TeamDreamRides.com is also the best place to go dump some stimulus cash or some riot cash if we end up getting that after this shit. And take advantage of the 100 days same as cash financing on all products. All you need is a job and a bank account. And don't forget to give John and the team a follow at DreamRidesJohn on Instagram. Check those guys out. I have been running Clockworks windshields on my Harley since 2012 when I first got my first Road Glide. And as a painter, I've had the pleasure of painting their steel E-coated front and rear fenders that come in a variety of styles to fit the look you're after. If you're looking to make an immediate difference in the looks and comfort of your fairing-equipped Harley-Davidsons, including the Fxr T-fairing, their Flare windshield is the industry leader in all those categories. Head on over to getclocked.com and get yourself set up, and be sure to use offer code FAST10 at checkout to save yourself. I don't know yet. Haven't got the percentage yet, but those guys are coming aboard to help us promote and do more of this podcast stuff. So you guys please check out our sponsors. Everybody's offering some type of offer code to help you save money on their products. Using those offer codes lets them know that our podcast is doing some work for them, which keeps them sponsoring us. So check them out, please, if anything. If you want to help support this, please go to our website, fastlifegarage.com, and check out our link to Patreon. There's plenty of stuff on there. And, we're actually going to be dropping some episodes that don't get released here on there. Nothing long or crazy, but just like little hour episodes, including the second half of this podcast, which is going to be there. And it wasn't done intentionally. We just did a podcast with two great friends of mine, Fxr Mike and Big Will Cody. And then we stopped, and then we went downstairs and drank some beer, and then came back up here and did another one that was, me and Cody were kind of shit-faced, but good times. If you want to hear that, you're going to have to go check out our Patreon to hear that part. But here's Fxr Mike and Big Will Cody. Check it out.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
The first time we did it, one time we tried to do it with Jesse, and I think he fucked everything up once. And I couldn't get any of the sounds right. It was just like too loud or not loud enough. It was a mess. But here we are. So welcome guys. I think I'm about ready. I gotta get my head in there. There you go. Done.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm good now. So, what a world.
Crazy times.
Motorcycles, man. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ain't much
Anybody
of that
still ride?
The best social distancing.
It's like the only thing going on these days that seems normal, right? Does that even seem normal?
Yeah, normal to me. Ride to work, ride home.
Yeah, you were talking about earlier, like no trips this year, man. Like nothing, no giddy up. Nothing really happening so far. It's just been like a dry ass year, and I think me and Cody for sure, like we're doing our trip in 2 weeks, but the itch is fucking strong right now, man. Like,
well, yeah, but I've seen somebody say something, a while back early on in the quarantine about ain't nobody got no excuse not to have built a pretty cool bike during this time though. Once things start opening up at Sturgis or whatever. I mean, there's no excuses really. It's not like, you've been too busy going on trips or this or that. Everybody should be in the garage building stuff right now. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing.
But for us, at least as in a bike shop, we have not slowed down at all. Like I've gotten more helmets, more things, more people want to do shit. And so it's like you would think that, I'm not complaining, even though it kind of sounds like it, but you would think that we would all kind of be looking for work right now. But every shop I talk to is busy, running out of fucking time basically. And I wish I could have blamed this on the COVID that I'm so behind on work right now. I'd be like, dude, man, the COVID came. So I'm like 2 months behind because we were shut down for 2 months. But
dude, they're getting them big unemployment checks right now. They're making that money. $1,100 a week.
What you getting?
man? Oh, I'm working.
I mean, you getting those stimulus checks, Mike?
I got the one.
Oh, fucking lucky, dude.
I got mine.
I didn't get shit, dude.
Why, you don't
Well,
do
you
your
didn't-
taxes?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I owe. I owe taxes. I figured like I would at least get. All I was gonna do is take the money and throw it right back at the taxes, though.
Exactly.
But yeah, I haven't got shit. I filed for the I didn't file for it, but I guess you're just if you did taxes last year, the year before,
Yeah.
then you'll get the whatchamacallit. But and then I did the small business loan, which after I started talking to other businesses, I felt like kind of an asshole for even filling it out because I don't have employees. I don't have any of the things that other people need that shit for. So I'm not really tripping that I don't get that now.
Yeah.
I don't need to, for sure.
I mean, I feel like it probably hasn't slowed down too much for bike shops and stuff because at least it seems most of the people I know in this aren't out of work. I mean, there's some, but a lot of people seems who ride are more blue collar and stuff and still going to work and everything like that. Plus, I mean, talk about essential workers. I haven't figured out, at least in Texas, who's not considered essential. I mean,
That's for sure.
realistically, not a
Essential.
whole lot. I don't know anyone out here who's not working out of people I know.
Yeah, I mean, the only Britta, my wife, she didn't.
Yeah.
She got, had to not work. But other than like tattoo shops and I guess restaurant, bars,
But even restaurant, if you work in the back, they're still
still-
working.
Curbside,
Exactly.
slinging. Yeah. A lot of people in the oil field are laid off. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's
I
true.
got a lot of friends that are laid off. My dad got laid off.
But they're used to it. I mean,
Yeah, it's
well,
it's a roller coaster all the
yeah,
time.
my best friend, he's in the oil.
Is that
he's
Dusty?
a pipeline. But yeah, and he's like, okay, yeah, you get laid off. I mean, that
happens.
happens all the time.
But I
He's
think
always
You
ready
wait for
to
the
be laid
next
off.
job to kick
Yeah.
off.
But the goal with the oil field shit is to stay ready for that, right?
Oh, well, they don't.
Yeah.
They
Well, it
always-
depends on if
You're supposed to
good or bad.
put back. Nobody does.
Yeah, you should have a few months supply just in case,
Yeah.
But
All those you go out to fucking Midland and shit, and Odessa, the trucks out there, and those
Stacked in the yard.
what do they call them? Where they squat the back end down and put the wheels out, looking like old Beaner cars from like the early '90s and shit.
Like the Cali style trucks.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I hate that.
Like
shit,
where the
though.
back squat, like they
Well,
forgot
that
to buy
and
the
then-
lift for the back.
That and they'd put the wheels like stick them way out of the actual wheel.
Yeah, well, that's just the offset of the wheel or whatever.
Oh, that's
I
so
don't know what
gay.
they call it, but a lot of people love that shit, man.
Yeah.
Dude, remember they used to do that shit back in the day, like on cars? They'd put the wheels way the fuck out. It was like, I guess you were born in '88, so this is like around '88. Well, you don't remember that?
Like the racers?
No, dude, this is before that, like in the '90s and shit. Like you'd have these, it'd be like a fucking Ford Escort, and the wheels would be sticking out like halfway. And I wouldn't say they were Daytons and stuff, but they kind of had that look or whatever. I don't know. I'd have to find some
Yeah, I
shit
don't remember
online to talk about that. I don't remember it all that well either. But yeah, dude. I don't feel like I feel like most people, unless you live like in the city that some shit's going down, like our good buddy Isaac that lives in Harlem, like he ended up going to upstate New York just to kind of wait the shit out.
You talking about which shit?
The COVID stuff. Now I haven't even talked to him since this shit took place.
Yeah, there's part riding in New York for sure.
Dude, it's like every major city, man.
COVID so last week, man. We're
Yeah, we're
past
so
that now.
past that now.
So 2000 late.
Dude, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's even harder to have an opinion about it because on one hand, at least for myself, on one hand, I'm pro everything they're doing except I draw the line at the the looting thing.
And burning shit and breaking shit.
Yeah, I mean the burning
depends.
shit makes for good social media right now.
But it's
But
still
it
ain't
brings
right.
attention
Still
too.
ain't
I mean,
right.
I'm definitely against when they do it with the small businesses and stuff like that. I mean, like I don't see there's no reason for any of that. When they're doing all that to the small
And they're tearing up
businesses.
their own hometown.
But I mean, when they're doing like the whole Target one, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's right, but I can understand that one. I mean, it's not like it's hit. I mean, how much is that gonna hit Target and stuff?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people talk about
They
how
got
like, there's
insurance.
other ways to protest and stuff, but ain't nobody been paying attention. I mean, they kneel at a football game. That's wrong. It's like a athlete talks about it in a press conference. That's wrong. A celebrity gets an award. They talk about it. It's wrong. So what's the right way? Everyone says everything's wrong. So obviously it's just going to keep pushing it to get worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, and I guess what's really hard about everything, what compounds all this bullshit, is that as soon as it happens, then there's tons and tons of like fake news, fake this, it's staged, it's this, it's all about the agenda of the presidency, it's all about this, and it just kind of like I don't want to believe it's that this is all kind of orchestrated.
I don't get into the conspiracy theory shit.
Yeah, I try not to either. Sometimes it's like weird. I guess they make such compelling arguments on like Facebook posts all the time, which is why I've been trying to stay off social media altogether.
Facebook is exhausting right now.
But about the whole writing thing, it's like, dude, I get it. Like, I mean, I don't get it from a personal perspective of living that way, obviously, but I understand the whole thing. I mean, I grew up in a semi, black neighborhoods, if you will, but not like oppressed or anything like that. Like, I don't know.
But why is it only brought up when it's a white guy killing a black guy? Chicago has got black on black crime every weekend, and nobody talks about that.
I mean, they talk about it for sure. I mean, you ever been to a black neighborhood? It's definitely a concern for them as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's not blasted across the news.
Well, there's no story there for the news, though. That's the thing. It's like there's no. You got to have opposing sides for it to be a compelling a compelling story. Like, you have to have, if you think about the narrative of it, like if you have somebody to pin against somebody else, it's like that nature of like instigating things.
Well, and when a banger kills somebody in Chicago, nobody's arguing that the banger's there to protect the people either. Now, when someone's there to protect you and they kill you, that's a completely different story than
I agree with
when
that.
the criminal
That's a good
attacks
point.
you. I mean, I feel like that makes.
It's like the news media they're just fueled on hate. So it's like,
that's
a good story because everybody's gonna. That's clickbait,
dude. If they were talking about like shit, like the positive things that took place, it gets no love. Like, Rogan had a great statement in one of the last podcasts. He said it's like we're just in our DNA to focus on negative. That's what kept us alive through the hunter-gatherer parts of our lives. So when these things pop up, it is that. But the other thing that's really it's complicated to kind of navigate is the fact that there's a big difference between that culture, our culture, the bike culture versus normal people. Like, we all live this very separate in our bubble lives, and when they get forced into each other, that's when people don't understand the different cultures coming together. It's not that one's right or wrong. It's just it's fucking different. You know what I mean? Like, a whole bunch of black folks party way different than a whole bunch of us do. You know what I mean?
They get down.
Yeah, so it's like, I've been to Kappa beach parties, dude. It's fucking crazy. I mean, I ain't gonna say it ain't a good time. I've been to Myrtle, Black Myrtle Bike Week. It's a good fucking time, but it's different.
My aunt went there one time not knowing it was going on. She showed up like, "Oh, it's cool, a bunch of bikes." Holy shit!
It's a bunch of bikes.
Yeah.
But no, it's crazy. Now, I guess, even when some of the rioting started or some of the protests marching, it's like, okay, let's see where this goes. And even, no matter what, you get a bunch of people together, they're going to loot. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it.
No,
but they're going to do that.
I don't know.
The problem is that people are opportunists. You know what I mean? And so they
see somebody doing it, and then they're going to jump in.
I mean, it's always the problem. People are much more willing to do something if a whole group of people are doing it.
Right.
A lot of people do things they normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read a lot of books on stuff like that. Like, I mean, hell, even that book Tribe you've probably heard about. That, Rogan talks about. He talks about
Carl
it in there
Younger
and stuff.
Or
Sebastian.
Yeah. That's right.
And like he talks about a lot of that stuff in there, and just how people are willing to do a lot of things, if the whole group is going for it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, I just read a book on the Bosnian Civil War, and they're talking about that and just like the atrocities they did and stuff. People doing it to neighbors, friends they grew up with, and it's just if everybody's doing it all of a sudden, raping your friend's wife all of a sudden seems perfectly acceptable. It's talking about how close just
that's
the man is to beast. We're not that evolved away from it.
The whole Nazi thing that took place, it was that same argument with that, like. How close if you're on if that shit started swooping across the country, like how would you have turned it down? Would you have not? I mean, how do you stand up to that? You know what I mean? So I get that, man. I just you're even us, like I wouldn't say any of us in here are rich or a part of that elite part of the world that looks at the world in a different way, but we're working class folks for the most part. but you know, I can spend $1,000 every once in a while or every month if I want to on whatever I want. You know, that's a privilege in a lot of ways, and a lot of people can't do that shit.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Damn,
can
you
do
are
that.
rich.
No, I'm not.
Celebrity status.
Yeah.
Please support my Patreon. No, but I mean, at the same time, it's like it's a much different world. I mean, fuck, dude. There's things that, like, you know, I go to the grocery store and I don't trip on, like, fuck, it's an extra $5. I read the wrong label. Motherfuckers, some people are putting that shit back. You know what I'm saying? Take that off.
Going the couponing and counting pennies and.
So, you know, there's a big difference and stuff. And I guess what happens, after this shit all kind of subsides, you know, which it eventually will, I think. Like, it's like in a relationship. Like when you finally blow up on each other and you have a fight and you fix it for like 2 weeks and then you're back to your old shit 2 weeks later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So what's the real path to a better world for us to live in after all the fires kind of, you know, get put out with this? I mean, cops they're trained to look for that type of shit, or trained to do this. And of course, this no matter how you say it, it's going to sound bad. But it seems like, okay, this is an example.
It sounds like it's gonna.
Oh, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth for sure. But
I feel like you already did, and I'm just trying to
I-
talk with it in there.
Oh, it is. It's facts.
I drive down the road for sure and look at cars and go, that motherfucker ain't got insurance.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like that.
Because
like,
it's a beater or something.
or just period. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm what is it calling, singling them out or
Profiling.
Profiling,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Doing it naturally, or see a bunch of black dudes in a car with some big wheels on. Like, I smell the weed, so I know they got weed.
He's a drug dealer.
I wouldn't say he's a drug dealer, but he's definitely doing drugs. And it's funny because, like, I don't look at it like I want these people not to, or whoever this, you know, the no insurance or people having weed or something. I mean, I smoke weed too, so it's not a big deal. But it's more like I get in trouble all the time, and it's like, but look at them. You know, I feel like the snitch is coming out of me, basically. I don't know. Like, then you put you put that mentality that I naturally have. Not that I'm gonna act on anything, but you put that mentality, then you throw a badge on my chest. All of a sudden,
You're a tough guy.
yeah.
Well, it happens.
It seems like a really weird place to be mentally, to where you have to police people. I mean, that's a lot of reasons why I wanted to get out of the MC culture, because of the fact that a lot of it has to do with, you know, as you get higher in up to the 1% world, like, your job is policing people, and I don't want to fucking tell people what to do and shit.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a scary place, man.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, we were at the pool yesterday at my buddy's house, and, you know, it was kind of weird just kind of like being up on the roof and seeing all the shit going down on the street. And then when we left to come home, just all the police lined up and the people running around. And it's like everybody's supposed to be wearing masks, so everybody looks like they're fucking, you know, it's all like an anarchy type vibe going on and shit. So it's just a weird thing. It's like the COVID mask has turned into the looting mask for the most part. So I don't know, man. You got anything on it, dude?
Super weird.
You talking to me?
Yeah, just anything, man. Just help me out here. Give me out the hot seat.
Well, I mean, with the whole riots and all this and the protests and stuff, I'm not saying I know any of the answers to all that. But, I mean, I have seen in some places, like, I seen a thing where they said that in Flint, Michigan, you know, when the protesters got up to where the police were, the police chief said, you know, he's just like, look, we agree with you. What happened was wrong. And the only question I have for you people is, what can we do to make this better? And then they all, you know, they had discussions and stuff. The police were out there protesting with them, and nothing turned violent. There was no looting.
Right.
And I feel like we all know that anytime you bring, like, violence just brings more violence, you know?
Right.
And, like, if you got fire and you try to throw more fire on it, it's not going to put it out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, so when they come back and, you know, you got protesters and stuff, and they come out there with all their riot gear and stuff, and they start shooting rubber bullets or tear gas and everything, it's like, what do you think's gonna, I mean, that's not going to calm things
piss them
down.
off worse.
It's just going to make people start scattering, burning things. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you know, that's not the way to, you know,
But what is the
calm
answer?
down the situation.
How do you fix it?
Well, like you said, I think that is the right way. It's
I
a
know
public
that some other
discussion.
cities did the same thing. You know, like they came out and the police were out. There's pictures of them out there protesting right with the protesters. You know, like, look, we want change too. Like, everybody's saying we all in this together. And that seemed like a better answer than just just igniting that flame that is right under. You got all those protesters out. They're just looking for an excuse to start burning shit, and you come out. I mean,
We're gonna burn this motherfucker down.
I mean, it's not most of the people. It's probably a small percentage, but then once it gets started and you throw that match on it, I mean, what do you think's going to happen?
It's like most Facebook posts are pretty good, but there's always that one dude that starts a shit show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Starts the argument.
Yeah, dude. That says, fuck you, man. Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about, and then everybody has to get back on it. But no, I agree. That's something I didn't think about. The just conversation, like having a conversation, and maybe even if like what the people want is what the people may want, like as a solution or a suggestion, being able to have that conversation, that discourse would be able to enlighten one side on their views and then enlighten the other side on their views or the thing. Like, look, like, at the same point, like cops all day long have to approach cars and people and things, not knowing if there's going to get a gun pulled, a knife pulled. Yep. There's so much. You're almost in a place where the only way you could literally wait this out is just to be like, yo, like, I'm on everybody's side here. You know what I mean? I don't want anything.
Well, and I think a lot of people's big problem, and I mean, with the exception of right after a black man's killed, most bikers would agree, like, they're usually not pro-cop. It's about the only time you'll start seeing them say pro-cop stuff. But I think most people agree that if, say, most police stations came out after that and they're all like, look, we don't think that's right. But the problem is most cops, we all know, they always stick together. They'll defend each other to the end. Back, Now, something like that comes out and, like, say in Dallas, if the Dallas police chief came on TV and was just like, look, that's wrong. Like, we don't agree with that. Those officers should be arrested. I think things would be a lot different. People would be like, okay, well, at least our police understands, that's wrong, and they're willing to go after their own, But I feel like that's the first step on their side,
Yeah.
Is just letting people know that they're not going to let their own people get away with whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like I said, there's a lot to it. And the other thing that was like driving me crazy was like last night when I did get online for a very short minute to look at what's going on. I saw that video in Dallas of them beating the shit out of that white dude, and I didn't know that the dude like was holding a sword trying to defend his business. So I don't think that he should have got his ass beat that way because it's pretty graphic.
Oh, it's bad.
No, he beat the shit out.
But like, dude, why the fuck would you? Like you said, you're throwing gas on a fire. Like, look.
What are you gonna do against hundreds of people with a sword? Like, it's definitely wrong.
Or the dude with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, like I told you guys earlier, there's a dude with a bow and arrow trying to shoot people, and he got jumped also. And it's like, I mean, none of that is right. They definitely shouldn't have jumped either one of those guys. Like, I'm definitely not supporting any of that. But at the same time, it's just like, come on, what?
Harm's way.
You got to know you're not going to fight off a whole mob of people with a sword.
Shit.
Like,
it's the same thing. Like you said the same thing. Like, you're not even going to do that with a gun. Like, you start shooting, there's a good chance if someone starts shooting, people are going to disperse. You know what I mean? I don't think the riot, like I said, I don't even want to say it that way, but I feel like if people start shooting, it's going to disperse. But if it was like a fucking Gaza Strip type riot or some shit, I'm sure people would take a couple bullets to bomb rush the people that are putting people in harm's way, But dude, it's fucking seeing that video is like, fuck, man. And then
it makes you feel bad for the dude getting his ass. Like, but you can't do it. There's no way to help. If you went down there and tried to help that guy, you're gonna get your ass whooped too.
And I mean, the thing was that apparently this guy was trying to save his business, but like, dude, fucking. Who you think you are, Michonne, motherfucker?
I mean, the report I read on it was saying, like, that they were coming towards his business, so he grabbed his sword and charged at them. Like, this is like some gladiator shit or something. It's like, I mean, you got to know how that's going to end. Like I said, it's not right, but
fucking sword.
Sometimes I don't know.
I want to see a video of that.
I
seen the dude getting his ass whooped, but I didn't see no sword.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
It's not funny.
Stop laughing.
You're the one laughing, man.
He's laughing. It's his fault. Oh, man.
Hey, there's the brutal video to watch.
It's brutal, dude. Is. I mean, I when I saw the video last night, I thought the dude was dead, man. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, man, that's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to help anything,
Yeah,
but
sure.
Fuck, the problem, what immediately happened as soon as all this shit took place is it immediately separated the people 100%, like the people that don't agree with looting and this, that, and the other, and then also kind of not saying I'm pro this, but I understand it in some kind of weird way. Now, because they are looting, because they are pushing themselves over this edge, now they have the attention of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so maybe the message goes further. It goes, you know, it reaches more people. But I know that, I mean, for lack of a better term, I know that the looting wasn't like an orchestrated idea to make things go that way. But it, you know, I don't know. It's weird. I wish they'd just do Walmart or something, or Target. Stick to the Targets or something like that, you know, and leave the small businesses alone.
But you're still putting families out of work. You're hurting more than just that business.
Well, see, like our buddy that he works in Deep Ellum at one of the bars, and he had made a post that said, like, look, guys, like, we just waited 2 months to be able to open our bar, and now we have to shut it down again because you got
protest.
The protest thing. So, I mean, it's putting a lot. I mean, like I said. You could. This is one of those classic Facebook arguments where there's gonna be points on both sides of the fence that are gonna hit home, you know. But realistically, it is still gonna be about the main thing, which is to, you know, put light on the inequality that people of any kind of race background other than white. I mean, I feel like I get profiled a lot too, but it was a choice. I mean, tattoos.
That's the argument I've made a lot. When people say like they get profiled and they're white because they, you know, they're a biker or 1%er or this or that. It's like, yeah, but that is a choice, you know? Yeah. I mean, it's not like, I mean, it's not that it's right, but you chose that, you know?
Exactly.
But I mean, really, if anyone wants to dig deeper into this, I could say that there's a book that I've read a couple times now and actually just started rereading called The Rise of the Warrior Cop. And it's all about the militarization of the police. And it starts off back at the very first police, you know, the first time they're using police pretty much in the world, and then all the way up to current times and how it's evolved into what it's become, you know, how it went from like communities policing themselves and everything to now the police are essentially like, you know, military, you know, and it breaks it all down. And it's not an anti-cop book. It's not like, you know, it's not saying cops are shit. We don't need cops or anything like that. It's just, it's all factual. He's using like all the different things. Like he shows how each law was implemented, like how it came up, why it came out. You know, most things were started off with good intentions, like most bad things. You know, there was good intentions behind it, and it just didn't work out the way they wanted and stuff. And I would suggest that anyone who actually wants to learn more about this, and if you're anti-cop or if you just think that there needs to be some changes, I'm not going to try and explain it. You know, you can read the book if you want, but it's definitely worth it, I'd say, because it's very factual. Like I said, it doesn't really pick a side. It just shows you how it got to this point we're at now, to where there's the police, and then there's everybody else, and how, you know, just how it got there and how it got so violent and stuff, and why they aren't trained to de-escalate situations. And it's a very good read. Like I said, I mean, I kind of reread it every time things like this happen, when all these things get crazy, and it's good. You'll learn something unless you just want to keep arguing whatever point you already got. But if you actually want to learn about it and you got an open opinion, I'd suggest it to you.
See, I remember I read or heard, I can't remember where I got this information from, and I don't even, dude, it's the second time I brought it up and I still haven't fact checked myself. But basically, it was like 5,000 people per every cop and military personnel. 5,000 bodies per one.
And military?
I think it is and military.
I don't know this fact, so I can't say.
Yeah, I think it's like 5,001. So it's like, when you think about that, like there has to be, it's kind of like when, you know, getting into another rabbit hole, it's like the only way to control a huge population is in some form or fashion, some type of fear. You know, you know, if some of you believe this way or not, like I'm not a religious person at all, and I feel like religion was the best way to control a large group of people without, you know, you implement some type of fear into them to get them to go down a path. You know what I mean? And same thing when you have with this, like you have this illusion of we have a country of freedom and this, that, and the other, and the fear is if we don't do this, then we don't have this anymore. And I agree to an extent, but you know, it's an argument to be made, I guess.
Well, it's similar to, like, you know, as a country, we've gotten much stricter and harsher in the war on drugs, but has it done much? Have we slowed down drugs at all?
We just made new ones.
Does anyone here not know where to find drugs? I mean, it's not always, I feel like it's the same thing, like the police have gotten much more violent, right? They've got better weapons and stuff. And has it made it any safer out there? Do you think it's safer now than it was in, say, the 50s?
I feel.
Do you think there's more or less crime now than the 50s?
I'm sure there was more crime, but I feel like we were. I think there's more now.
I
but
think there's more now.
That's what I mean. So
It's just-
is it working?
Yeah,
I mean, just like
we
the
just
drug
have
war.
so many more people, though. The thing is,
You
that
think
the
it's more
population,
people?
yeah, the population is like doubled or tripled since then. Once again, I need a fucking Jamie here or something
Fact
like that.
check, Jamie. Hit that.
But I want to say that over the last 100 years, that the population has like tripled or doubled or something like that, or definitely doubled for sure. I mean, the baby boom came after the fucking World War, and then technology's gotten better to where people are living longer now, and there's so much more people everywhere. Period. So, this town, Waxahachie, that we were in, 50 years ago, might have had 1,000 people living in it. Now there's probably 30 or 40,000 people live here, versus same thing with Dallas. Dallas is like I think it's like the Metroplex itself is like 5 to 10 million people here or something.
It's like 8 or something right now.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, that's a fucking shit ton of people.
So you're saying you think there's more crime because there's more people?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, on I would say that in my limited knowledge of understanding all this stuff, but just for the small amount of time I've put into investing and understanding it, I would say that you have that, and as things go, I wouldn't say the inequality of like wealth or the distribution, because I feel like I said, I'm not black or Mexican or any kind. I'm white as fuck, so. But I feel like I have a chance to kind of become a millionaire if I really want to put my mind to it, or if I can figure out how. And I feel like most people can too. But
but in America, who can't?
That's a weird thing. I think that's where it gets weird because, like I said, when I was growing up and I played basketball, I lived in a suburb that was not the worst, but not the best, but it wasn't the worst for sure.
Right.
We went to play teams in the worst.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine, like in places like that, you almost like going to like a school that I went to that was predominantly black. It's really easy. If I didn't play sports or if I wasn't good at basketball, I would have been picked on. I would have been a lot of things, right? If I was black and I went to a school that was like probably like in South Oak Cliff or a little bit more hood, especially in the 90s, you kind of have to go down that path, or you got to be the guy that gets punked on and beat up and bullied your whole life. Or you go down that path like everybody else and end up doing some hood-ass shit. And then next thing you know, you catch a little fucking case doing something stupid that, just trying to be in the cool kids clique or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's really easy to fall down that path.
And that shit can follow you around for a
forever.
long time. Yeah.
So it's like it's weird because like you go to certain towns and it's like, dude, like we used to go play basketball at this park south of Dallas, and we used to go there because that's where a lot of really great players would go. So if you wanted to like show out, that's where you go. That place was hood as fuck though, dude. Like if you weren't playing basketball, you were doing something illegal there. Right? And so it's easy to be there stuck in that fucking environment every day. You know what I mean?
It's easy, but you got to be the better person and get outside of that.
That's easier also. Everyone.
If you have somewhere outside of it to go.
Go to college. Go get an education. Go get a job outside of that shitty hometown that you're living in.
But that's if you've got somebody to set that example for you.
Well, yeah, that's a problem too.
And if you don't, then it's easy for you to say if you did have that example. But everyone's coming at life with their own life experiences. That's what brings them to where they're at, you know, whether whichever side you're talking about, growing up in the hood or maybe growing up out in the country where it's real racist. And I'm like, how could somebody still think that way? Well, they got there with their own life experiences brought them to that point, you know.
And they're probably taught that way.
Yeah, they're taught that way. They're brought up that way. Or maybe they weren't really taught. Maybe their parents weren't around and they weren't taught. So you're looking at it through your eyes where maybe – I'm not talking you specifically.
No,
but,
yeah.
You're looking at maybe you grew up with two middle-class parents and stuff. They taught you right from wrong and all this and that. Well, maybe this guy, his parents weren't around. Maybe he had a single mom. She wasn't around. Nobody really taught them right from wrong. Is that how much of that stuff is just what you know is right and wrong, or do you only know it's right and wrong because someone taught you, And it's just one of those things. I mean, you might say, yeah, I know this is definitely right, that's definitely wrong. Well, I mean, shit, you just look at all different cultures around the world. There's a big difference between right and wrong. Like in China, they'll eat a dog. I mean, for here that's wrong. I'm just saying, but that's a cultural thing. You go to India, they think it's crazy we eat cows. You know, I mean, it's all
they worship
most things
them.
aren't so black and white, right and wrong. And if nobody teaches you those things, how do you know? Or how do you know you should go?
It also brings into another point of being exposed to different types of cultures and different ways of living to understand that, like, what might look crazy is their happy place. So the same thing when I've always said this when it comes to, like, when you got cops, like say, you know, Dallas, for instance, there's so many different boroughs, basically, if you would call them that are vastly different from one another. I mean, one side of Deep Ellum is hood as fuck, and the other side is white as fuck. Mm-hmm. There's like 3 streets of, you know, trendy bars and restaurants to divide these two places. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a cop that grew up on one side and now you got to go to the other side to kind of police people, you don't understand the difference, or you don't. If you're a white dude that didn't grow up around a lot of black folks, go to the kind of shit that takes place, you go to the park and you see all these people loitering, basically, you think, oh, they're definitely doing something wrong, when that's just part of Sunday culture.
Yeah, it's just a different culture.
You know what I mean? So it's like you get people pushing those places, and I think that's where it gets a little bit obscured and weird for people to understand the differences of all that stuff. But you know, if you're from the country and you know, like Justin from Hingham High, like we talked about in the first podcast we did, it's like he didn't see a black dude till he went to the military.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so if you grow up, especially, you know, like now, if you're from the country now and you're not around a lot of mixed ethnicities and stuff like that, and your only perception of other races is what you see on TV, I feel bad for the future of that kid's perspective on things.
That's why, I mean,
you know?
it seems like not a big deal to probably the 3 of us. But, like, you know, you hear about it from minorities and, like, their representation on TV, where, like, you know, the Mexican dude's always, like, you know, a banger or something. And you know, it didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me, but Glenn has explained to me, my wife, who is El Salvadoran, and, like, you know, she'll watch a lot of those shows where, like, you know, like, just a Hispanic family is just like watching, you know, like, just just a normal sitcom or something, but they're Hispanic, you know? And for people like that, it's a bigger deal because it's just they're out there on TV where it's like they're being shown, and just like we're just normal people too. Like, we're not all bangers or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. And like you said, somebody like Justin, or a lot of guys I've worked with at my job who said, you know, they grew up in the country and they ain't talked to a Mexican or a black person until they started working in places like that, you know, like their whole life, never seen one. So your only perspective is what you see on the news or TV shows or movies and stuff. And, you know, it's just...
And then you also got, like, you're also being grown up or being taught from probably a set of parents that aren't as diverse as well either. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine how crazy it would get the further you get off the main highway. You know what I mean?
Well, it was like you've probably seen like a little picture and stuff with that quote from Dennis Leary where he says, you know, racism, you know, nobody's born racist, it's taught and stuff. He's like, I got a 2-year-old. You know what he hates? Naps. End of list. You know, it's like you're not born hating anyone.
Yeah, it's a perspective thing, and I think that, you know, that's one thing I try to, you know, instill in my kids, is just being exposed to so many different cultures of people, and not just cultures, but like, dude, like traveling America. Like, when you travel America, you're exposed to different shit. You know, just the different way of living in different parts of the country that's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what's great about traveling on bikes. You see how other people live. You go to their hometown. You see how they are they nice to you when they walk up. Do they wave? Do they open the door for you? You know, like, because that's kind of basic growing up around here. You know,
it's
we
weird
open.
that people come visit here and they think they think it's
Southern hospitality.
These people are so polite. You know?
Like, I don't even see it out here, but anytime someone not from here visits, you know,
they're like, oh man, it's so nice. They opened the door for me, or they waved at me driving down the road, and like,
I get that every once in a while. You know, especially being on this side of town, and the wave thing's cool, but you know what the weird thing is too? Sometimes I get at a point where I don't want that anymore, even though
Jace would.
Yeah,
that's just wrong.
I'm just like, man, fucking
just be
leave
genuine,
me alone,
dude. Don't wave at me,
nice to people. Yeah.
No, for sure. I definitely do that. I try to hold the door open for anybody, and that got super weird with COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people look at you.
Dude, that shit pissed me off. I was at fucking racetrack one day, and I was like trying to figure out the etiquette to be polite, you know, and somebody, it was like a younger chick, and, you know, she was just kind of like she was bobbing and weaving me, and I'm like, I'm not trying to rape you, bro. Like, I'm just trying to open the door and keep my mouth pointed in another direction. Like, you know what I mean?
Confusing.
Calm down.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
People,
Yeah, that got it blown out of proportion. Big time.
dude, it's so it made it super weird to just want to. I don't know, like all this shit's weird. This whole fucking year is weird.
Yeah,
It is. It's been a
2020.
weird year.
We need a restart, rewind.
I just need know what. Look, throw whatever else you got. Just get it all out of your system. Can we just at least can it be the kind of problems and changes take place after all this bullshit that we actually live in a better place next year? I'll deal with it. I'll deal with whatever else
As long
we
as
got.
you know there's something good coming at the end of this.
Yeah, dude. Fucking what else you got? Aliens? Someone made a post that was funny as shit. It's like
It's fucking Armageddon coming.
yeah. Someone made a funny ass post. It was like I can't even remember the way it was said, but it basically boiled down to is like next bring in the aliens or some shit like that. To where,
Yeah.
where it's like okay, well, I would definitely believe it if it happened. So
Release Area 51.
It's been a weird year.
yeah, man, it's super weird, dude. And it's made it kind of weird to want to travel. Like, not that I don't want to, because I mean, like I said, we're planning on hitting up the Smokies here in 2 weeks, but it's like traveling on a bike. It's like you don't ever, like I have no desire to go to New York or Cali if it's like this. Like I want to go see it normal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the only thing that's normal right now is not the big cities.
Yeah. And each state has their own. They're opening. Everybody's opening up different, so you don't know if stuff's going to be open. You're traveling across country. You want everything to be open so you can see whatever you want to go see. But some people might not be opening fully or right now, or shit may be closed, or bars may be closed, or whatever you want.
But
to do.
it's so funny how like all of a sudden this past week that just took place, COVID is not even important
Well,
anymore.
I was just saying last night that I guess we're gonna see how serious it all is here in a week or two. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
with all
if
the
everybody
riots.
starts getting sick, then we know okay, it's pretty. A good thing we stayed away from each other. If nobody gets sick, we're gonna be like, well, guess that was bullshit.
Guess we're good.
That's the one silver lining here. We're gonna find out for sure.
Yeah, they can go back to 100% opening.
The
if
death
this-
percentage.
Yeah,
is
if in 2 weeks
14
everyone's not
days,
sick, then we're gonna be like, all right, we can go back. We're
We
good.
can
now.
riot that for sure. I'm down. I'll get down for that riot. I want fucking full capacity bars and all that shit back to normal.
I swear my life has not changed even the tiniest bit throughout this entire quarantine.
Mine hasn't either.
The only
Besides
thing that
going to
changed-
restaurants.
Yeah, the only thing that changed for me was not going to shows. You know, the Giddy Up or Time Traveler show got canceled, but even that's it because this time of year it's not like there's a whole bunch. That's about the only thing I've missed so far this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they canceled. I guess Daytona took place, but yeah,
Right after that, that's when the shit.
Arizona Bike Week got postponed to October
I
now.
don't do that one anyway.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit, I guess.
I mean, all the Born Free builders, they got an extra couple months to get their bikes ready. So
They're talking about that son to get like I guess.
Pushed again.
Well, the problem is right now that whatever and like I said, limited knowledge, so take it for what it is. But California's governor is like on some shit right now, and they're not going to give them. They're saying they probably won't get permits for the kind of gatherings that's needed so that they can put on Born Free.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? Because they're shoving everybody in that field. You know what I mean? And
I think it's all just up. I think we just got to wait. Like it's all just everything speculation.
they're
at
saying
this
they're
point.
not giving out those kind of permits for the rest of the year, and they're talking about. I guess the things I've been seeing on the YouTube news channels that I do watch whenever it pops up or whatever. It's like they're saying that like they're not going to allow. They're trying to keep the lockdown until there's a cure, which they're saying
Maybe years.
They're also saying there'll never be a fully cure
There
for
might
a
not be.
cold or a flu virus. You
You
know
can
what I
get
mean?
the flu shot, but you can still get the flu.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
don't fucking
It's
know.
not 100%.
But yeah, I don't know. Like it's a tough one to say, and I guess they're trying to wait till June 15th to say if Sturgis is going down.
Yeah.
But at the
Dude,
same time,
that's
it's like here. This is my thing with Sturgis. What are you gonna shut down, bro?
The concerts.
Hey, all those hell yeah brother
gives a
dudes can
shit?
stay home.
Yeah, right.
We'll have a better time. But now Sturgis is a fucking whole corner of a state that parties. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't necessarily shut that down. And even if you said it's not happening, people are going to show up. And guess what? Those people that make all their money for one time a year, they're going to open the doors.
Yeah, because they're gonna want to sell.
Yeah. There's going to be, dude, Aaron, your buddy from East Texas said that he rode down there to Sturgis or went down there.
Yeah, he drove
He
a
said
truck.
there was bikes everywhere there.
When was this?
A couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Or last week, I think.
Yeah. Said people are fucking riding. I get it right now. I think people are still kind of off the quarantine thing, or they're on quarantine, not allowed to go back to work. So like, fuck it, let's just go ride across country.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
if I was getting $1,100 a week on unemployment, I'd be traveling everywhere. I wouldn't come home for months.
Yeah, that's just Texas, though. Some states don't get nearly as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Florida.
But
they're
everybody's getting that extra $600, and that's where the damn money's coming from. Extra $600 a week
But Florida's only like something like $200 a
max.
yeah, max. So that's
Plus
only it's
the
800,
600, I guess.
But yeah, but it's,
$800 a week, it ain't bad.
no. Shit, still more than I make.
Right? I don't bring home $1,100 a week, so
God damn. Yeah.
No, Jace don't want to comment on
yeah.
He's like, shit,
I just
y'all
paid-
don't bring home $1,100 a week?
I just painted one helmet today, $1,500.
No, I don't. Once after taxes and materials and
Yeah, you got to pay your
Yeah.
fucking taxes.
yeah, it's a mess. No, I'm trying to build something here, so all my money's going to this. You think flat screens are cheap, bro? What the hell?
Essential to podcasting.
He's trying to hire a Jamie.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that's the next step, man. If I could find a way to get to that level of having everything I'm doing right now mentally, like I'm trying to find a way to make a little bit of money in like 3 or 4 different areas, right? To where I'm not over encumbered by one thing. That way I can stay kind of fluid, like ride bikes, paint a helmet or two, paint a bike every once in a while, go crazy with podcasts, travel a lot to do the podcast, bring people in, and just kind of create a bigger kind of presence in all the things I do. But it's just a lot of fucking work, man. But they say it's like if you really want to become like wealthy, not that I want to become wealthy, I just want to be free in a sense. Like I want to be able to be free enough to
Go and do as you please or whatever.
yeah. I mean, even now, like it's a weird place because I feel more trapped the better that I get at painting. I feel more trapped that I can't walk away from things that
Well, you feel
You're not
good-
feeling very trapped
you feel,
right now.
Well, you feel guilty for taking off for 5 or 6 days to go on a road trip or
Yeah.
whatever, because you're busy.
Well, it's that too, and there's this weird thing that I haven't quite figured out all the words to kind of describe it, but I'm at a point now where I feel like say Aaron's bike that we're about to be done with, it Mike seems to be hating on quite a bit.
the
He's
best-
hating because it's dope.
Haters gonna hate.
But I'm real proud of that bike. I think it's going to be really nice when it comes out. I think it's going to be a really great push in helping performance baggers kind of go somewhere further, along with my buddy Kyle's bike that he just finished. Super sick. Insta having Kyle. But had to give him some credit, man. That bike is
Shout
sick.
out.
Yeah, shout out.
He went to the details. for
Mustard's
sure.
so hot right now.
Mustard.
But now that it's done, like once that bike's out there on the street, and I'm not going to want to paint anybody else's bike. Like, I have no desire to paint one more bagger this year. Not one desire. Including mine. Like, I don't even want to fucking paint mine.
Are you planning on repainting yours?
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
he was trying to paint it before Sturgis.
I was thinking
we'll see
about
if that
repainting.
happens.
It's not going to happen, but so it's like it's weird. Like when you've kind of like my whole life I've been working to get to this level of putting out the kind of work and getting the opportunities that I'm starting to get, and my heart's not in it. My heart's in the work that I'm doing, but like if I agree to do something, then my heart's going to be in it 100%. But like the people that are reaching out to me wanting to do stuff, I'm like, fuck, that does not sound like fun. That sounds like I'm like trapped here for another 2 months. I can't leave. It's just a weird place, man.
That's probably part of because you haven't been able to do a lot of trips this year.
I agree. So that's what
So
I'm
if
saying.
you get a trip every couple months or at least a long weekend or something, get away, then you clear your head and then
Yeah.
you come back with a fresh brain and you're ready to go back to work.
I'm hoping. That's why like I text you. I was like,
Yeah.
we've been going back and forth about this trip to Tennessee. I think I mentioned it twice that I was and wasn't going. And then I text him.
It's still 50-50.
I text him and said, dude, I'm in 100%. Like in to go to. So basically, we're just gonna go to Chattanooga
First
and then
night, yeah,
then I guess we're gonna go bomb the FXR jam
Yeah.
with our
with our not FXRs.
They'll have their stones ready.
We're gonna be on live. Yeah, they kicked us out. Fucking, they hate us because they ain't us.
We'll see a
Fucking
couple
nerds.
baggers on fire.
Yeah, be looting.
Crazy.
your
Yes.
time's not welcome.
Come
around
out of the
here.
hotel room, our bikes are pushed over.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely gonna happen. Or they'll ride on them.
Really, nobody care.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a no, but I've missed the FXR Jam
every
year pretty much since I've known about
not
it.
pretty much.
Just all together.
Never been.
Why ain't you making it this year? Just too much shit going on, or what?
We're gonna do the West Coast Jam in Sturgis
That's
instead,
right, yeah.
and I can't keep taking off a week to go to the East Coast Jam. I mean, I could, but it just limits what else I can do. You know.
Yeah.
And like 4 or 5 years in a row, felt like it was time to go do some new things.
Do most of the guys on the East Coast, do they take a full week? Because it's only the dates are only like 3 days. It's only showing like 3 days, but do a lot of people stay for the full week or?
Yeah, a good bit. I mean, we had talked about that I think this year because I made the flyer and then I ended up not even going. But you know, I just 3-5 days. Like 1 year we put 5 days on it. You know, most people seem to get in around like Thursday or something, and maybe, you know, usually when I go, I'm there for like 5 days.
Push out Sunday.
That's how I do.
Monday.
Yeah. Leave. I'll go on Thursday and then maybe leave on Monday.
Yeah.
And that's when I get there, and then you got travel time and everything.
Right.
But yeah, you know, I mean, some people will come for just a weekend. Some people come for longer. I kind of feel like if you're coming from further away, it kind of makes more sense to stay longer.
For sure. Enjoy it.
I mean, most everybody's there Saturday. Some people catch like, you know, the first 3 days, the last 3 days, or all
Yeah.
the days.
When's the West Coast one?
The West Coast one is like July 17th weekend, something like that.
So the
Middle of
West Coast
July.
one, like that area is just super dope. There's
It is.
Sierras.
I mean, not that the East Coast one
Yeah, I was
isn't.
gonna say the East Coast one is equally as badass, man. Like you really can't beat it. But where the West Coast one is just maybe, how would like 50 miles south of Reno or Carson City there.
Yeah, probably like
So where
So
we
we
were,
wasn't far from
yeah,
it.
when we were at TBJ's house. It was just right down the street
Yeah.
from that. So,
Yeah.
but you know the same thing. It's like our buddy Steve Chamberlain. His camp out is the same thing. It's like I think the 19th of July. But it's hard to make that trip, this trip. All these summer months get so packed with events.
And then back to back. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, a month, not even a month after July 19th. And
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Sturgis is like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
then we had to do another 1,000-mile trip to get to it.
well, you
And-
don't got to do everything every year, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
split it up.
Yeah, you know, I completely agree. But there's this weird thing for me, at least, when as being somebody, quote unquote, in the industry or whatever, you feel like if you're not at Sturgis, you're missing out. Like I get that fear of missing out syndrome. Was it FOMO or whatever? If I'm not,
He's coming up with shit now.
that definitely doesn't sound like the right acronym for that shit.
FOMO.
Fear of missing out on shit.
FOMOS.
FOMOS.
I don't think this is working.
Fear
Scrap
of
it.
missing out. FOMO.
Okay.
Well, because
Fear
all your
of
friends are there posting about it on
Exactly.
social media.
And you know, it's kind of like when you want to get yourself out there and you want to kind of brand and push yourself in what you do, you go to the big events. You go to the places and you make people look at you, in a sense. I mean, for lack of a better term, if you want to be a shop and you want to be known in the
Right,
industry,
right.
you can do all the social media you want, but you have to go to places like Sturgis and be in some of these shows to be, you know,
Do
kind
you
of.
have to?
scene.
I mean, not everybody's as cool as you, Mike,
I'm not talking about me.
but
I mean, I go to plenty of shows. But like guys like Al Emerson, he don't go to nothing. He's
Yeah,
booked
well-
out for years.
you know, some dudes just got big penises and some don't. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, is it a necessity to be at Sturgis and Born
I think
Free
it
and
is.
all these?
I think it's very important if you want to build your, you know, your place and your brand. But I mean, a guy like Al Emerson, you know, same thing. Who knows what he's done over his lifetime? You know what I mean? Is he just came out of nowhere and all of a sudden he was just the best bike builder?
No, I mean, I've been following him for a long time since he did People's Champ a while back.
But he was building bikes before the whole People's Champ and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
So he had to have put in some kind of work to kind of get to a level. It might not be the same thing that everybody's going, but I feel like it's very rare for someone just to kind of stay in their garage and become sought after. After, you know, you got to put your shit out there. People have to see it in person. People got to meet you in a sense. And I don't know. Seems like that's the way to go, right? No?
I don't know.
Get the camera off me right quick.
Jacob said, "Tell Jace the volume is kind of low."
Well, I told his fucking ass to turn the volume on.
Did he text you too?
Yeah. It's like telling badass kids to be quiet.
Yeah.
Go in another room.
Whoop your kids.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's what do you think?
About what?
What's up with the? What do we? You haven't been on since the 100th episode. We're at almost 50 episodes later. We're at 144 right now.
Is that the last time?
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
so. Yeah.
Right around January.
No, this was November,
Yeah.
October.
Was it? Yeah, I don't even remember
It was
when
October.
that was.
Yeah, the planets aligned.
When
We had-
all the gods were here.
Yeah, we had FXR Mike and Joe Kidd.
T-Bar Jesus.
Yeah, we had Jaden in the background, fucking drunk as shit.
Oh yeah.
He ate a dragonfly.
Fuck that dragonfly. Fuck with you guys.
I'll fuck that dragonfly up. Yeah, that's my boy. No, it's this year. Dude, I think we all had like great plans and hopes and dreams this year.
And they got crushed.
Yeah, just fucking like just sniping out the sky, just knock them down.
Not bike related, but 2 vacations already got blown for me.
Yeah, he's supposed to go to fucking Ireland for a week, basically.
March,
9
yeah.
days, 10 days. Right, I remember when it was about to happen. Because I think we were going to do something else, and you were like, I could have swore we were going to do something, like maybe go to, oh, that's right, we were going to go to Giddy Up. Whatever, like,
Time Traveler.
yeah, Time Travelers.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be the same time. And you're like, well, that got canceled, the trip. So, and then Time Travelers got canceled. So
I was going to make it, and then
Yeah.
they got canceled. Yeah. Yeah.
we ended up just going down there anyway and fucking partying. They had a great time. So,
That was just you and Britta, right?
yeah. And then, Robert Cheek came up
No,
from,
he come okay.
and came and
Yeah.
partied with us for a little bit. All the Houston dudes were already there at the campsites, and I was down to go hang out with them, but like I kind of played it to my wife, like, we can just spend time together and camp together, it'd be a great time. And she was like, fuck yeah.
And
just-
all the dudes were there.
yeah, I saw all the friends.
Dude's
I was
like,
like,
peace.
yeah, I was like, can we go camp over here? She's like, you said it was gonna be us. I'm like, fuck,
Damn it.
it's bullshit.
Lockdown.
So I ended up having to not hang out with my friends the whole time. It wasn't as fun. Just playing. I love you, wife. Had so much fun with you. I ain't gonna lie, I threw a fit for about a good 2 hours till I started getting drunk, and then I started opening back up. I was
believe
pissed. I was like, fucking, my friends are down the street. Can't even go play with them. It's bullshit.
Was y'all in the same campground?
Well, at Waco, is that how you say it, Mike? Because you like to correct me all the time.
All right.
Haco.
I think it's Waco.
Waco
It's Waco.
Springs?
So at Waco Springs, they they got the Giddy Ups area that we would all camp at.
Yeah.
And then they have the area that we've been doing the Simpson camp out at.
Right.
And we ended up staying at the Simpson thing because, it's kind of nicer over there. It's like, they got the fucking springs coming out of the ground. You can kind of camp right next to the water. And then if you go to the Giddy Up side, it's like just kind of more flat and open. You know what I mean? Just so you can kind of shove more people in, like sardines or whatever.
Is there a bathroom on that side too?
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I saw so many dudes naked in there before. It's so gross.
So weird. Yeah. One time, what was it, last year when the Boy Scouts were all at the fucking campground? And they're trying to take a shower, just long out, fucking Boy Scouts walking around in and out of the bathroom.
I missed this.
Yeah. Dude, we've been doing this like Simpson camp out thing for the last 2 years now.
That shit's fun.
Yeah. Dude, you can throw put anything in front of camp out. It's a good time. COVID camp out, riot camp out, fucking whatever else going on camp out. It's a good time. You're all going to have a great time. So clearly we're drinking in my side.
So these fucking idiots.
I mean, y'all ain't even 3 drinks in yet.
Dude, I haven't drank in like a week though.
Hey, that's like 2, man.
I got my water.
I actually was stopping drinking until today. I was gonna go sober.
He put the guilt on
Yeah.
me.
You're gonna go sober.
Do you
we
wanna
both
drink?
we both walked into Quick Trip, and at the middle I was like, "You gonna drink?" He goes, "I don't know. I was wondering if you were." I was like, "Dude, I was hoping you'd make that decision for me."
So I guess we're drinking.
I drink water so I can sober back up.
Is that how that works?
That's what I heard on a video. Got that watermelon mint, son.
That's smart water.
It's not working.
That flavored water gives me heartburn.
Well, it's just regular water. It doesn't have it's not sparkling. But sparkling, I've actually started liking that over the last year and a half. I understood the concept of it, but like,
Is that like the Topo Chico shit?
yeah, that shit's for chopper guys. That's not for just normal people.
I tried it. It wouldn't taste worth.
I feel that Topo Chico is strictly for dudes who used to drink beer. That's all you ever see. It's like everybody I know that's gone sober, except for Mike. Do you drink Topo all the time?
No.
So it's like you'd always see him like, oh, I need a Topo Chico. It's almost like that's the new vice. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like, but also Topo Chico looks a lot cooler for a biker than a LaCroix. You know what I mean?
LaCroix,
whatever the fuck. LaCroix. That's just weird. But did y'all listen to? You're on the Patreon, right? Did you see that podcast we put out with?
Yeah, I didn't listen. I thought I've been on a podcast.
Yeah, you probably don't want to hear it, dude. We were so fucked up on that thing, high and drunk.
Yeah, I was tore up.
Yeah, it's a good time. So that's what you get when you pay $1 a month.
Yeah, I think I pay $5 a month.
Or a penny.
Man,
shit.
you know.
Damn, baller.
One day we're gonna get some more giveaways to go on. Have you ever won anything on ours or Danger Dance?
I won some on Dan's one.
On yours? What the hell have you ever given
I know,
away?
you've only given away like one thing.
Dude, no bullshit.
You know who won it.
Bullshit. You've gave away, what, one?
Yeah,
Deck?
Justin won it. Oh, no.
No, I haven't gave away anything yet on paint, like on my end, but we've done a couple Lexan things, and we Booster Brad gave away some T-shirts or some shit.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't win nothing. I won one of the lowbrow gift cards on Dan's.
Okay, I need to step that up.
You know, after like 3 years of monthly support. Now,
Yeah.
early on, I
No,
kept
not-
expecting to win something. Because I was like, man, not a whole lot of people yet. I feel like by now I should have won something, but
The weirdest thing about it is like it has to be justifiable. If it costs me more money to give away something that I'm actually making on doing it, then it kind of like defeats the purpose, right?
I don't know, unless you just care about your fans that much.
I mean, how long
I
you
mean, I
been
don't know why you're
podcasting
asking
now?
me this question.
I don't know. I like how Dan does it because I mean the idea with like the podcast being supported by the listeners versus like chasing sponsors all the time to keep like financial income coming in is way more ideal. You know what I mean? Not that I don't love the sponsors that we have, but it's just you never know every month. Like fuck, man. You know, did people reach out to these sponsors enough for them to stay on board? Mm-hmm. Am I gonna have to try to find new sponsors to keep things going? And it's weird because, like, once it starts making money and you're, like, able to pay a bill or two off of it, then you kind of depend on that, and then that can all go away like that. It ain't like your job where
Steady check.
Yeah, it's not like that or other kind of jobs. It's like out of nowhere, like at the end of the month, you could be like, well, fuck, I made decisions all month to, be here, and now these people, when COVID happened, we lost sponsors for that,
Yeah.
It was and it's not that they didn't want to stay on board. It was just the
That was my opportunity to cancel. I should have done it.
yeah.
I'm in a bind. I gotta
That's that
cancel.
opportunity, yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I'm talking shit. I'm gonna get more cancellations. Most of the people that cancel are the $1 a month people, and it's like, damn, I was hurting you that bad, bro.
Yeah,
like
$12 a year.
Like that $1 just like puts you over the top. Like, you know what? I don't even listen to this fucking dude anymore. Fuck, you're not getting $1 from me. I'm like, I thought like, if you have like the 5,000 to 7,000 people that listen to this every week or every time we put an episode out, if all of you guys was $1, I'd be giving you all kinds of shit, bruh. Mm-hmm. All kinds of shit. I would.
He'd have a new FXR.
Nah, dude. I'm a better guy than that.
So you still is everyone still supposed to be sending you every 82 FXR that pops up for sale?
I still get it every time.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone continues that.
Yeah, dude. I want one. But I'm starting to kind of question the whole concept of a shovel head. Like I don't really care to have one.
Why?
Just I want it to work.
Plenty of shovel heads that work.
How's your shovel head right now?
I mean, it runs fine. It's just those fancy rocker boxes that are leaking. But the actual shovel head itself runs fine.
I don't know, man. I want that bike that Al Emerson's been building for the last 2 years, I guess now, or a year and a half. I don't know how long it's been.
Like 3 or 4.
Oh, 3 or 4 years. fucking beautiful, right? It's one of the nicest like FXR chops I've ever fucking seen in my life. And every time you post a picture of it, I stare at it as if I'm not seeing that angle and those mid controls and all the shit that he's made on that bike a million times.
Yeah.
You know, but it's such a nice ass bike. And but like that whole thing is like 90% of that I would not have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? Like that would be like you and I've talked to you and Brian at TPJ about doing types of stuff, and I didn't know about having you make the rake and the D rake thing, and then having Brian make a custom tank for it or some shit. Mm-hmm. But so that's the thing. It's like, so 90% of this build, I wouldn't have shit to do with it other than like the painting or maybe the assembly. But then there's the other aspect where it'd be cool to have something that a lot of friends of mine made. You know what I mean? That I felt would be equally.
I mean, but it's not like you're normally doing any of that stuff yourself anyway. Just because you're running a stock tank, stock frame, and all that, so it's not like you normally would be building that. So it's not like you're doing any less work than you normally would.
For sure. So yeah, it's kind of the weird thing, and I feel like I need to build up my patience for everything. You know what I mean? Because like I have a tendency to play to my strengths of giving myself deadlines and pushing for those deadlines to make things happen. So that like, say I gave myself the deadline of riding this current FXR to Born Free because they moved the dates. I'm like, I can do that. But if I don't do that, then, you know, if I don't give myself a kind of deadline for something, then I'll lose interest. And I don't lose interest and put things on a shelf. I lose interest and I sell everything. Yeah. And I find something else to like feed that fucking right there want of something to happen, you know? And plus, there's a new camera coming out in July. It's about $4,000. Probably get about $4,000 for this FXR the way it sits.
Instagram biker thinking.
Influencer.
Yeah, influencer.
What will bring in more likes? A new FXR or a new camera?
True. That's a weird thing about it. Like, no matter what I get into, like I funnel money into it. Yeah, I try to go too hard, but
deep.
You can't casually be into this.
I don't. Yeah, it's not part of my DNA. It's just kind of dabble in things. I deep dick things, bro. Got my dick extension and everything, and that. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I don't know how to like. I don't know how to like put things aside and not focus on them 100%. But like, I don't know how to divvy up my attention and things. You know what I mean? Like, building a bike, which not necessarily something I do very often or at all. If you've listened to this podcast, I technically haven't built a bike since I've been on this podcast, or to some standards assembled.
I mean, I was just talking to somebody about that, and I think it's just a different thing. Like, I know you bring it up all the time, building a bike versus not, and I think there's different. Not that it ever really matters, but I think there's different standards for building like an FXR or a Bagger or a Dyna, like that category, versus building a chopper. Because if you're building like a Dyna or a Bagger, you're not building the frame and the tins and all that. So it's like nobody is. I mean, I'd call like my RP bike, I'd call that a build. I mean, I didn't actually build anything outside the exhaust, but but that's just how you build an FXR. You know, I mean, I feel like the more scrutiny comes down to when you're talking about choppers and stuff, where you got guys who are building full frames and stuff, and then somebody who just bolted on, a tank and this and that, and all of a sudden they're saying they built this bike. I think that's where it more becomes different, between building and assembling. Because, I mean, who out there is actually building their Bagger? Nobody's that I know is building their frames.
There's so many more syllables in assembly. You know what I mean? It just takes so much longer to say I assembled this bike.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you built it. I mean, you built it the same as every other. Like, you go to a performance bagger show, ain't nobody else built it more. Yeah. I mean, in that sense,
I agree. I mean, it's the thing. It's like that age old conversation that always boils down to, you can always one up somebody to the next level. I mean, last year at Born Free, they had a dude built that fucking exposed internal motor kind of thing. It worked. It ran, more than some things do in this world. And, who's to say that dude's, not an extreme, version of what we're talking about. And next thing after that, it's like this dude needs to melt and make his own tires, and then he's fucking legit 100% everything. Yeah. He needs to assemble his own bearings. You know what I mean? Out of hard, cold steel, son. it turns into like, okay, I'm done with this conversation. It's basically where it goes to.
But just I don't even see
contest.
the point of the conversation when you're talking about baggers, diners, or FXRs or the like, because nobody's building them in that sense.
Well, in a sense, when it comes to like maybe, I mean, on performance baggers, there's a lot of people making trinkets, or I say trinkets in a way that's like they're making they're billet making accessories, drawing them. Like my machinist, he makes a lot of cool shit. Or people are carving out knee pockets on tanks and things like that. There's more. Actually, no. I mean, when it was the big wheel bagger, I mean, at least people were cutting necks and welding necks.
That's what I mean. With this stuff, not many people are actually fabricating stuff. And then even if you've got guys like Justin and stuff, and he's doing cool stuff, but it's like, I mean, he's also selling it. That's like if Boosted Brad used all his parts on a bike and said, I built this more than you did because you bought the parts from me. It's like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You know, it's like, it just seems trivial to me to even have a discussion versus built versus assembled when it comes to these kind of bikes.
True. I agree. It's like I said, usually when that topic comes up, I just like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to try to prove my worth here.
It doesn't even matter, really.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's always like I said, more reason to stay off Facebook. You know what I mean? Or hashtag the right thing on Instagram. That way you don't find yourself in a shit talking conversation. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you're bored and the shit talking conversation's fun.
We can tell that you enjoy it. Yeah.
On occasion. Sometimes you just get bored.
A little fire, a little gas.
Let's see what happens.
Man, I don't know. I think when I talk about like, oh, I'm gonna do this FXR, you know what I mean? It's like I'm saying like, yo, I want to build this FXR. It just sounds like that's people know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna take a bike and I'm gonna make it look different.
Yeah.
To the extent of the like, what is that gonna be? Like that's for the nerds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I just don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, I feel like the only time that comes into play and mattering is if you're building it for a show where there's like a competition. Like, say if you got like a competition, especially when there's like money at the end. Like say the Cycle Source one, I know they do, and then there's the one that's out in LA, and Then it's different. Then if you're talking, then you can start nitpicking on did this person really build it or did they farm out the whole build. But if you're just doing it for yourself or fun or even like to promote your shop or whatever, well, I mean, what does it matter? It doesn't, I mean, like I said, unless it's for a competition to where maybe he built everything on his bike, maybe he farmed out one part, just the front end, but built the rest of it, versus you sat there and farmed out everything and just put it together. Then I could see where he could be mad and be like, well, Jace didn't actually build this bike, But I don't think that's what you're trying to. You're not trying to get into a chopper building competition.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I got to pee real quick, but I got a good point to carry on this conversation to another area.
Are you gonna hold that thought?
Yeah. Can y'all talk amongst yourselves?
now what do we talk about?
I don't know. Look into his eyes. You'll figure something out.
What color are they? I'm a sucker for blue. Yeah, they blue?
No, they're green.
Shit. Oh, we're failing already.
Bring more beer. I might have to pee after him though too. Shit.
So what do we talk about?
I don't know. What's the next hot topic? I wonder what's on his mind. He said he had a good.
Yeah, he's got something good. Yeah, he'll forget it by the time he gets back. Or either he's gonna forget it or he's gonna stumble all over his presentation of it because he's gonna spend too much time thinking about it while he's taking a piss.
How do I bring this up?
Yeah. No, so you excited about going to the Smokies? You been out there?
Super excited. Never on a bike.
No,
but
it's good.
I've been to like Bristol and stuff and that whole area, but I haven't never been on a bike. So I'm super excited to get away. I think we're doing 5 days, so
yeah,
be killer.
It's just y'all two, right?
Well, my buddy Jacob's on the fence. He's gonna be last minute if he can go or not with work. And I think that's it. But Jay said something about can't remember the name. One of the dudes from New York and the Lexington guy.
Yeah,
talking about riding down and meeting up. Meeting up with us in Tennessee. So that'd be cool.
No, 2-3 people. That's like my favorite for a trip.
Yeah.
But really, I like going solo. But if it's with people, 3, maybe 4 is the max. But that's really perfect though.
Yeah, and he when he originally that worked.
I dropped that, so you might want to.
Okay. When he originally backed out the first time. He's like, man, I'm too busy. I can't go. I was going to go solo.
Yeah.
Because nobody else at that point could get the time off or wanting to go. So I was just going to go solo. And it would have been my first solo trip, but now he's back in. So
Yeah.
I always suggest solo trips. to
Solo
people.
trips are
It's
fun, dude.
yeah.
I really like them. I want to talk about that too. But anyway,
What was this thought you had?
so it's not really. It's kind of been built up now for about 2 minutes.
Expecting something great right here.
No, it's not.
Profound words from Jace.
You got a breath?
Yeah, actually.
Them stairs are a bitch.
Yeah, dude. 13 of them. No, I just there's a. From my point of view, like I know a lot of different painters that also build bikes that do really nice shit. Fucking out of breath.
You need to keep talking for 5 minutes, or
As we were talking about the gym on the way over here.
Yeah, dude. I was like, hey, so how'd you lose weight and do all your things?
exercise. Oh, fuck it, never mind.
I'm out. You can't drink?
Oh, man, it sucks. Yeah, I did ask you, like, how much did you drink at the time?
Eat right and exercise. Not what I wanted to hear.
No, what I was saying is, like, a lot of painters will build bikes. They'll build nice ones. They'll do a lot of cool shit. But then, like, the powers to be of deeming, not that there is that, but it seems like they would never get the same kind of love as a shop that sold parts online. You know what I mean? An online parts seller ends up assembling a bike, and they seem to get more credit in the world of custom bike building than somebody that just paints bikes in a sense. You know what
Because
I mean?
they're
Not that I'm pitting the two together, saying that it's them versus them, but just as an example and an example. You know
I
what
think
mean?
it's because they end up being more known, more people have interactions, be like, oh, that's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Like Jim, we'll call Jim, has an online parts store, and you're the paint shop. How many people buy anything from you in a year? What, 20? On a good year, maybe? You know?
Yeah.
And now Jim over here, who sells online parts, he sells maybe 10 parts a day at least, we'll say.
Yeah.
So he's got thousands of people who have been like, oh yeah, man, Jim's a great dude. I bought it, so they already love this guy because he runs a successful business, ships out quick. Everyone likes the guy, so he builds a bike. And let's be honest, I mean, it's not the only deciding factor when you see a bike you like, but the person behind it, especially if you know, like if it's a friend of yours or somebody you just know, or you like their Instagram, the content they put out and stuff, you might like that bike even more than you would if you just happen to see it because you're like, oh, I know that dude's a solid dude, and you just like it more because you don't even mean to. It just naturally happens, you know? And
makes sense, yeah.
So I feel like that's probably why that would happen.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of one of those things that I guess it kind of discourages me not to even try sometimes. Like, what's the point of trying to
But what are you trying to build this bike for?
Well,
Just
I
for the
mean-
love and attention?
I mean, fuck yeah. Why does anybody build bikes?
How many painters are out there that ride as much as you and
Well-
build bikes though?
Well, I think there's a lot of painters out there that would probably. I know of a lot of painters. I asked me to name them off right now. I couldn't.
Yeah, no.
But I know of a lot of really talented painters who also. I mean, the thing about being a painter is that you have a more eye for the visual look of the bike.
Right.
So a lot of really good painters look at the entire bike as how it works with the paint versus, it's like me, like probably why a lot of, big known bike builders don't use me because they'll be like, hey, I want to do this color. And I'll look at their bike. I'm like, no, that color ain't going to work. And I was like, that's what I want. I was like, dude, you're a fucking idiot, but it's RNS or some shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm the idiot in that situation, but it's, like we all have, I think a lot of painters have an eye for color, the fluidity of the entire look of the bike. Like I don't look at the bike as in just the paintwork. I look at how that paintwork works with the motor and the frame and the wheels and how the designs work with the shapes of everything. And there's just a lot more to it that I feel like half the people that build bikes don't even take that much consideration of how their whole thing sits and looks, as a finished product.
You say most people in bikes, I feel like most people don't pay any attention how anything works together. You see it all the time, like it's just not flowing at
Shit's
all.
clashing.
And I'm not talking about anything specific or something like that, but you'll just see it and be like, dude, like I don't know what this person was thinking,
Yeah.
and It's just, but it's like they're all cool parts, but it's like it's all just got to go. Not.
I've always said that like customers do bikes like that. Like say people that build bikes based on what they like. Here's the deal. Like I used to tell this when I used to do more customizing for people. It was pick the one or two things that you have to have. Make sure they're the big things. Make sure it's your wheels or something that's very visual, right? Mm-hmm. And the rest, you fit it to that. You make it work with those things.
And that's like I was telling you earlier, like you're just good at putting style or swag on a bike, you know, which I feel like is one of those things that's harder because you'll see guys who just throw tons of money at a bike and it's just like, man, it's just I don't know, I can't even put my finger on it. It's just like it just doesn't look like it's working together. Like it's too much money. Yeah. Like Jessup's bikes too, like not like that. Like, well, he'll put a lot of money in, but it works. Like you know, there's lots of thought into it. You know, it's not just, oh, this is the coolest part right now, let me throw it on my bike, even though you know, this seat just doesn't go at all with, you know, everything else going on here, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And that's just, I think that's one of the harder parts of these kind of bikes. I mean, people talk about the whole, whatever you want to call it, the performance scene, just to lump all those together. And people act like it's all just about performance and just the best suspension, the best mobile. Well, let's be real. I mean, a lot of it has to do with, for most people, the look too. It's not just that. Like, I'm sure there's some people out there who that's all they care about, but it's not the majority, or they wouldn't be dropping $3-4 grand on paint also. You know, that because nobody's bike is built enough where they couldn't have spent another $3-4 grand into everything else.
Right.
So, you know, but that's one of the parts where I feel like everyone just doesn't know. And I'm not saying I'm great at it. I mean, there's plenty of people I ask. Like I've asked you before, like, hey, what do you think about this? Where should, you know, which, you know, because there's just certain people who are good at it. You've got that. Like I said, Jessup's got it. And it's just, I think, an overlooked aspect, I guess, in just bikes in general, because it's not just this scene either. You see it with choppers and everything too, and I'm sure people critique some of my stuff too. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. I mean,
some people critique your stuff.
It's all of this stuff comes down to preference, really.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things. But you know, like to me, you know, the amount of time that I spent rolling on a rolling chair around, you know, Aaron's bike down there, while I was painting it, just, I mean, he picked out his parts. I'm just painting it and making it look work together. It's so crazy just how long. Like I spent literally probably one whole day just sitting there laying tape out just to see how that tape looked. Like it's almost like when I lay out designs on the bikes like that. If the tape looks cool going around the fairing to the tank to the bags, if all that stuff flows, then it's working. So when I draw a sketch or whatever, it looks great in a 2-dimensional surface, right?
Yeah.
But then when you put that just one line, you know what I mean? I'll just try to lay out one of the graphics of all the graphics and see if it all works. You know what I mean? And so that, I think that's what separates our paint work from a lot of people that aren't going to spend that kind of time. You know what I mean? Because I probably ran through $50 or $60 worth of tape before I actually committed to tape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That tape is fucking expensive, and that's why I use those $200 markers, who is also expensive, but at least I could do like 20 sketches out of that shit versus the other one. It's just it's a place, man. Like you gotta think about everything you're putting out of your shop. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like I don't put a lot of things out of my shop these days, so everything has to be something that I'm super proud of, or you know, like why do it? And that's kind of why I've been kind of up and down with this FXR build. Is that I know what I had to put into the last FXR, not money wise, but just attention wise, and with the podcast, with my like pushing photography thing now with current helmets and paint jobs, and it's like I'm kind of scared that I would kind of build up this idea I'm gonna build another cool FXR, and then you know it'd just be a basic bitch ass bike.
You don't want to half-ass it.
I don't want to half-ass it, and it's not so much that I truly. I for sure care about the way the public sees our brand and the business and my abilities as a painter, podcaster, you know, whatever. Like I want to try to do my best. Otherwise, I'm embarrassed. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's one of those things that like I overthink the situation, I think, and it puts me in a super stoked, super bummed, super stoked, super bummed situation, you know. But anyway,
I can see that.
You had a good point, like about riding solo versus riding in groups. Mike's done a couple solo trips. I've done a few. They're pretty awesome. What's your, I would say scares you about the situation, but what's something about those kind of trips that intrigued you, if you will?
Well, for one thing, I think I haven't done it yet, but I think if you ride solo and you're going to go cross country, you're going to meet people. You might stop in a town for a night, and you might go to a bar or a local restaurant, go to a bar. You might start talking to somebody. You might meet somebody. They might become a good friend. Then you're traveling across country with that guy, or when you're going through that town next time, you might stop in, have a beer, whatever.
Yeah.
I just like the aspect of just meeting people, traveling across country, getting the hospitality we talked about earlier. You know, y'all might be friends at a bar one night and, dude, just don't waste your money on that hotel. Come crash on my couch, you know? I mean, it might be weird, but
it's not the best night start.
Right? What was it, Todd?
Yeah. Dude, Nitty Gritty the year before last. But we weren't separate. We weren't alone. But yeah, we went Nitty Gritty 19 or 8. It was 18. My bike was black. Yeah.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, dude, we just met some dude at Twin Peaks, and he's like, dude, we're having a party at my house after this, and this party was like him and the rest of the HOA.
Yeah, it was like fancy neighborhood.
Dude, it's fancy, like to the point where we all were like, man, I might see this dude's wife's tits tonight or something. You know what I mean?
Is that what happens at a fancy party?
I don't know, man, but she had some big ones, and she was acting like she wanted to pull them out. I was sticking around to see what happened.
Possibility we might see a nipple.
Yeah, for sure. No, but no, that is kind of the fun thing about it. But when you're, I don't know, like, I guess when I've done solo trips, like I felt more. I love the riding part alone, but once you get to your destination, like, you know, I probably don't have that personality where like I walk in a bar and make a bunch of friends. You know what I mean? I'm probably in a bar like, oh, okay, I look fucking nervous. Let me get on my phone and see what's on Instagram.
See,
and
I'm opposite. I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I've done so much solo stuff in my life. Back when I would drink, I'd go to a bar and just start talking to whoever.
Yeah.
But
you never know. Might turn into a friendship or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The other good thing, I guess, I like the solo thing because I think me and Mike have said it a million times. It's like when you are solo, you literally do everything. Like you don't have to pitch it out there to the rest of the group. Like, hey, y'all ready?
Cater to nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, that's how I do my rides now.
Do y'all want to stop at this restaurant or this restaurant? Or this gas station or this? Yeah.
That's how I tell
Probably
people now. Like,
stressful.
unless it's just me and you going. Like me and Gary do a lot of riding together. So obviously I'm gonna ask him. We'll discuss what the plan is and stuff. Yeah. But anything else, like hell, the past couple of years going to Giddy Up and stuff, people are, hey, you going? Let's ride together. I'm like, I'm going, and you can ride with me, but you're just riding with me.
We're stopping
like I'm
where
not
I want
asking.
us to.
I'm not asking any questions.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting you to stay with me either. You can, but and it's not because I feel special. It's just.
Yeah, you got your ritual for Giddy Up.
Well, I just would do that for anything else too at this point, just because I like to ride how I feel like riding, and it's not a disrespectful thing to anyone else. In my opinion, it's just, I mean, we can ride together, we can ride not together. Yeah. You know, we're all going to the same place. We hang out there. You know, because maybe you want to do 100 and I want to do 80, vice versa. You want to go to hit reserve every tank, or and maybe I don't. Maybe I just feel like doing 60-mile stops.
Yeah, right.
And I don't feel like you shouldn't have to stop because I want to stop, and I shouldn't have to stop because you want to stop. The way I see it.
When I rode to California the last year on the solo trip, like I remember blasting back, and there was a couple times where I literally, for the majority of like a whole run from a gas station to gas station, I was like, where do I want to eat? And I'm sitting there riding on my phone at the same time, like checking like what's at 50 miles or 100 miles, like what am I looking at as far as options and stuff. Yeah. And there's been times where I would I would pull over, get gas, and I was gonna eat there, but I would be like, I still feel good as fuck. Yeah. I'm gonna go right back on the road.
That's why I don't like making those plans. If you're like, you stop here, and then next gas stop's 100 miles and stuff, we'll get something to eat there.
Yeah.
And you gotta group people, and everyone's like, all right, everyone's planning on eating. Well, maybe you don't feel like eating now, and now you gotta stop and eat and stuff, and which. I know it's not it sounds like you're being a dick, but it's but it's not, I don't see, for me, especially as long as it's a group and not just one other person, there's 5 of us, for me, just be like, hey, you guys can eat, it's nothing, but I'm going to just keep going. I feel good, man. I feel like I just want to keep riding,
Yeah.
And
what I've also done, doing these trips to California that we've done over the last couple of years, last year was our biggest group we ever did. How many we have? 6 of us. And Yeah.
Yeah, 6 starts getting a little big.
So at some point, it's like, you know, and I kind of take it amongst myself to kind of be the guy that's going to show people all the cool shit that I've experienced on the road. But you get to a point where it's like, hey, you know, if I was on the road, I'm down to try new shit, like new restaurants, new bars that I've never been to, just to kind of see, you know, the different shit. So in certain areas, like if I'm in Monterey, I'm not going to Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what I mean? But if I'm in fucking Stockton, California, where there's only good taco trucks and there's a decent Buffalo, I'm gonna go to Buffalo because I know they got.
I won't ever do a chain on the road. It don't matter where I'm at. You never know, we might find that gold mine place. You find some bomb ass restaurants in the most random places.
You do, but at the same time,
I'll take that risk every time.
I'm the exact opposite. Where it's like if I know a lot of like most of the places I've traveled, I've been there a few times where I know people there and I can reach out to, hey, what's some good spots we can go check out. But you know, when it's like it's the same thing when I'm fucking driving from point A to point B, like when was making all these trips to NorCal and back just to kind of work or drop off bikes or whatever. Dude, I'm on the road. I'm fucking stopping at Denny's.
Hell no.
And all those places.
I'm just stopping at the random ass burger joint and stuff. And
yeah, you're so chopper, Mike.
I don't think that's chopper, man. That's
I don't know. I think it's chopper.
So you're saying like performance baggers are corporate? Is that what you're saying? That's what it sounds like.
Sounds pretty professional to me, dude. No, I think that we all, you know, for me, it's like it boils down to that same conversation that you have with your old lady every night where you're like, what do you want to eat? And it's like when you got 5 or 6 dudes with you, where y'all want to eat at? It's like guys are way better than just one chick, though. Like 5 dudes is like one chick.
That's why it's always, when you go on a ride, I'm telling you, man, one person's just in control.
Yeah.
And either you can follow that person or not, but you just put one person in control and he's like, hey, this is where we're stopping.
Yep.
And you can either just be like, nah, I'm going to go here. And you go there and do your own thing. But just, you can't be putting shit up to a vote, man. You never get anywhere on a trip.
Yeah.
If everything's okay, you stop at this gas station, okay. Now everybody's going to get on the phone and try to figure out all the restaurants. So, hey, what do you think about burgers? Nah, man, I'm not even. This guy wants pizza. That guy wants a diner. I mean, and then you're all sitting there trying to vote on it. And next thing you know, an hour's gone by and you're like,
you can't be a little picky bitch.
Yeah.
On the road.
Usually what we'll do is like we'll be at a gas station before it's time to eat. And I would be like, yo, y'all want to eat at the next stop? And then I'll just Google right there and see what we're working with.
Yeah, well,
you got people who will just let you dictate or everything.
Right.
And
yeah.
Well, there's usually one person like in the group. Like you said, if you got a group, there's usually one person in the group that kind of takes control.
Yeah.
Not that they're being a dick, but they just kind of take control.
And like I said,
they lead. They're usually the leader of the pack.
Yeah.
They're first, you know, and then they pull over.
Well, that's what I mean. As that guy, though, I found it just. I mean, when you are that guy, it just doesn't work to put that shit up to a vote. You know.
No, yeah.
Just stop. Like, hey, everyone cool for pizza?
Yeah.
Good. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Works best that way.
I mean, shit. I mean, our whole trip to California last year, that's what it was like. I mean, I feel like we pretty much hit great home runs with everything we did, except for. I wouldn't say except for, but we had a hard time in San Francisco.
All the Denny's were great.
No, we actually we stayed out on the back roads for most of the trip. I mean, think about it. Like when we left here, we went 287.
A lot of interstate.
The only interstate we really did was the pushing from point A to like where it's just about making miles. So we were 287 to Raton to we were on interstate all the way up to Colorado Springs. Yeah, 25. And then from there, we were all the way back roads, all the way to Breckenridge, and we think that pizza spot we had was fucking good, dude.
Did you like that ride from here to Raton?
Absolutely no.
I can't decide if I do or don't, man. Like I've done it so many times now. I have to decide.
The only way you like that road is the fact that you're leaving here. I can never come back on that road.
Coming back does suck on that road.
Yeah, I can leave on that road all day long because I have so much energy and enthusiasm to get on the road and go somewhere. So I'm stoked.
And that's why we left early as shit.
Yeah.
To miss all that.
Yeah, I've told you that. Leave about 3, 4 a.m. That way, especially if you're taking 287 from Dallas North, by the time the sun comes up, you're almost to Amarillo. And you can go ahead and stop in Amarillo, have you some breakfast or whatever.
That's what we did. I think we did stop at Denny's in Amarillo.
Yeah, we did. It was easy, though.
Yeah, it was.
They got the 2 for $4 menu or the 2, 4, 6, 8 menu or whatever.
Yeah, no, I remember one time we went to Raton. I don't remember if it was the first or second year when we, I think I forget, but it was we left like shortly after we got off of work, so we left at like probably like 6 o'clock or something, and just rode straight through, and that was such a great ride, just riding through there the whole way at
I remember
night.
you doing that one. Didn't somebody have a problem on that one?
Coming back, not going.
That's like, for me, that's where the scenery kind of starts changing is when you get to Raton.
As soon as you,
Once you get into New Mexico,
once you pass that text line spot and you're into, I think the next town is like a little. There's a Love's I always stop at on that trip right there once you pass the border.
Yeah, there's just nothing on that on 287, but for some reason, part of me really likes it, and I can't.
You know what I like the old towns.
Farmland.
I like the towns you go through where you see like the decaying.
And there's always
buildings.
another one coming up. Like it's
Yeah,
not
every
never
30
long.
miles.
Yeah,
Every 30
so
miles.
it's I don't know. There's something about that I just kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Well, the all that stuff, man. Like like technically 287 from Dallas heading north or northwest is it's kind of like it's a very connecting highway. Like if you're on 40 and you want to drop down to 2030 into Dallas, it's a fucking like great like angle of a highway to make some time.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you had that from, let's say, Amarillo straight northwest into like Albuquerque or something, that'd be a fucking dope little run too. But you'd be getting mountains and all that shit. It'd be much harder to have a straight shot. But so coming home, it's always hard to go down that road. So that's the same thing.
It's a long road.
We were gonna come back the same way because we did such a crazy loop and came back basically to we basically hit
Southern Colorado.
Yeah, we basically hit Raton, headed north to Colorado Springs, and then looped all the way to Reno, NorCal, LA, then caught back up to like Vegas into Utah, and was in Durango basically. And the goal was from Durango, we were gonna do like Taos, and do like that Angel Fire, that whole area.
That's nice over there.
And then 287 home, and then we decided last minute to drop all the way down to. I don't know why we decided to drop. I think we were going to stay in Amarillo, but we said, you know what, let's screw this thing. Let's go to Amarillo. And then as soon as we got on the highway, we saw the storm coming.
Well, we got hit by the storm, so we didn't make it across the Texas border.
Yeah, we thought we were going to miss this storm, but we ended up dropping down and seeing Billy the Kid's gravesite in Fort Sumner. It was pretty fucking cool.
Jacob came up with that out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like,
apparently this next trip to Sturgis, we're going to see a Doc Holliday's.
we went right by it.
I didn't know we went
Glenwood
by it.
Springs.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time either, but I seen somebody. It was a couple weeks after we got back. I was like, they posted the Doc Holliday grave, and I was like, damn. I looked up the location. I was like, dude, we went right by it. Like it's not that Interstate 70 that goes through the Glenwood Springs or whatever.
Have you
right
driven or ridden that Interstate 70 through the middle of Colorado yet?
Fucking killer.
No,
dude, it's amazing.
I think I did drive it years ago, but I've never rode it. I haven't rode much of Colorado.
Man,
so when I hit you up like 2 weeks ago, I said, hey, let's do this trip. And I was like, let's go to Colorado. And like, he's like, dude, we're going to Colorado in 2 months after Sturgis. Like, let's just go east. I'm like, man, I want to go to Colorado, dude.
Yeah, I know Jack was saying to take Colorado to the West Coast Jam when we go out there.
Dude, it's nice,
killer.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as weird as it is, like when we went to the Salt Flats, it was underwater,
right?
So we couldn't like go out there. But dude, Salt Flats are dope, man.
Yeah,
it really is like a super weird thing when you're standing out there on the salt. You know what I mean? It's just not even riding or driving on it or anything. It's just standing out there. You feel like you're on the moon or some shit. You know what I mean?
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've never been out that way.
It's cool.
You're gonna do the West. You said you're gonna do Sturgis this year, though, right?
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to?
The FXR show.
There's got to be something that's like you want to see to confirm or deny some situation in your head.
Not so much, no. I mean,
No landmarks or nothing. Just going for mainly the people in the show, or
I'm just gonna go to show, check out all the
ride the
stuff,
country,
the riding around there and everything.
Yeah.
Just
what's
see
your
what
plan
it's all
for
about.
it?
No plan yet. I'll play that.
Do you have a start and stop plan?
No.
Must be nice. What kind of vacation time they give over there? You working at GE still?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't need to put that in now. You know, I'll just figure that out. But I don't know. I've got different options on where I could stay, so I'm not sure which way I'll go yet. Like Lightning, the guy whose shop, right by my house.
Yeah.
he goes most every year, so he's got a place to stay, so I can stay with him. And then Jade's dad is talking about getting an Airbnb out there, so I might stay with him. And
what's your route there and back?
I don't know.
I always try to recommend people to do both. Do the Colorado route, like Raton up 25
and the 35,
and then do the through the Nebraska. I tell people all the time they're sleeping on Nebraska, man.
Huh?
Yeah, dude.
It ain't shit, Nebraska.
Yeah, you're sleeping on it. If you're on like eastern Nebraska, it doesn't have the same kind of it's not. It's different, right?
Yeah, I just said I like West Texas though, so I don't mind when there ain't shit.
Yeah,
it doesn't really bother me.
Literally,
different breed.
If you're in Omaha, right, and you're headed west, you're headed towards Sturgis and whatnot. You can. When I did the podcast up there with like Bill Usher and those cats, they said it best. It goes from agriculture, or no, it goes from farmland to agriculture. I think is what he said. Is that the same thing?
I would think.
No. What's the cattle? What's that called? Is it like a
cattle?
Come on, dude. You guys, there's like a farm term, dude. It's
Jamie?
basically it goes from fucking crops to fucking cows, livestock, some shit like that, right? But you can literally see it like you're passing. The whole terrain
this
changes.
Boy out of city.
Yeah, dude. If I can't see a 2-story building, dude, I feel lost.
Oh man,
And I don't mean barns. No, but like so, Western Nebraska though is like for me like I was never like a huge like country Western kind of fan, but just that vibe of like the open plains kind of vibe like that. It's super like
But
that.
some of Western Nebraska still kind of got a little hills. To
A lot of it, dude.
Yeah.
It's literally like half is
Kansas sucks ass.
Yeah, but once again, like when I came home this last time. I solo trip on the way home from there. Like I was just kind of zigzagging through the back roads of Kansas, man. You find these towns, and like I found myself riding through this part of Kansas where I'm like cornfields to the ceiling, just riding down it. I was like, this feels cool. Yeah,
it's different.
I don't know,
man. I like any riding as long as it's not super windy. I mean, as long as it's not super windy, I'm having a good time.
Yeah,
so basically, every time you go to
North Texas,
yeah, every time you go to fucking Raton, like as soon as you get,
I know it's a bit windy. That's my only gripe about that. But sometimes it's not. Like it's not always windy going out there. But
that's what gave me PTSD about going to fucking the top of
Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak.
It wasn't windy that day though.
But you don't understand. That's not how
Dude,
PTSD works.
Riding Born Free last year in New Mexico and Arizona, man, that shit was so bad with the wind. Like that shit just wasn't even fun. Like when it would get bad. And
so
that's the only time. Like I've rain. I mean, obviously I don't prefer rain, but I could deal with rain.
With it, yeah.
Well, the only
But
time
that
we hit it
wind,
was
man.
North Texas.
So we hit it.
It was after Amarillo, right?
Yeah. So we hit it on the way to Raton.
Yeah.
So there's like this big it's like just open before you hit those the Rockies, right?
Yeah.
And then we got it going 25 north into the rest of that day because as soon as we hit Raton, you start heading north into Colorado. You got that wind coming off the mountains and kind of swooping down, and that's where we got fucking like nailed with the rain pretty hard.
And before we got to Pueblo,
Yeah, so we got fucking hit with the rain and the fucking wind at the same time.
Yeah. See, that's me. I'm more about the weather conditions than what I'm actually riding through and seeing.
Yeah,
me,
so
I don't know.
that's what gave me this like weird PTSD when I was going up that fucking mountain. You know what I mean? So
Hey man, if
It
it's
was
super
windy.
windy, I wouldn't have done it either.
It was
it wasn't windy on
Dude,
the mountain.
yeah.
On the mountain, it was not windy.
it was windy as fuck, dude.
Bro.
I was on a full fairing bagger, catching every bit of it. And then like. Dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it the next time we go through there. I'm doing it just to prove a point.
You have to, man.
You got too much to prove, Jason. Man. You got to prove shit to nobody.
I guess I got to. You know?
Why?
It was
Because-
super windy at the top, but it wasn't windy where you stopped.
Well,
I think that traffic got you when everybody jammed up there.
Yeah.
And then buses were jammed up and going around the sharp corners. I think that's where you just.
That was part of it, 100%. The very, very slow
They
speeds.
got them little tour buses that they try to take everybody up.
Have you been to the top? Have you done it, dude? It's like
I mean, if it's super windy, I ain't doing it. Fuck that. I got nothing to prove. I don't like riding in the wind. What the fuck am I doing it for?
It wasn't bad.
Dude, it's like imagine being on a road where there's like a mountain, there's like this small ass 2-lane road that looks like your driveway basically, and then the concrete ends and there's nothing but sky. There's no grass
trees,
or trees or earth. It's
I'm
just
not huge on heights in the first place, and like I said, I don't care. I don't give a
It's not
fuck.
heights. I mean, you're still on the ground.
I didn't care. It wasn't the height.
Yeah,
that,
but when I could
If
see
you
not
go off
ground,
the ledge,
yeah, that's
I'm
the
not a
thing.
big fan of that.
yeah.
I literally couldn't see the ground. And I think that's what's fucking me up because going up, you're on the inside lane each time. So you're on the side that's closest to the deal. So you see the edge of the road and you don't see down. You don't see earth under. No, it just feels like you're on this like. Have you ever had those fucking dreams where like you were on this like staircase or like this kind of like very unbalanced? It's got to be a common type of dream that people have. That
Elaborate.
means something.
I don't know.
Well, when you're in some kind of unstable ground situation in a dream that's supposed to, mean some kind of certain thing, whether it's like a staircase or like, tall something, anything that's elevated, where there's this like fear of falling, basically. You ever had anything like that?
Maybe you got vertigo.
I don't think so.
I've
think
never
I had
had
that
that
dream.
I never had that one.
You never had a dream? Okay.
I always
Anti
get-
Martin Luther King.
For some reason,
No, I've never had that dream.
for some reason, I always get dreams about my teeth getting knocked out. I don't know why.
I dream about maybe you got fear of fucking like crooked teeth like me, dude.
I don't know. My shit's crooked, but I just like they
Jason's
get,
like, that's a good dream for
they
me.
get knocked
Yeah,
out.
dude.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude. But no, like I just got this weird like thing going up there. So I'm not super scared of heights, you know what I mean? But I guess where it freaks me out is when you feel like you don't have the stability of something.
You
like,
don't got to do it though, man.
no, I
He
will
didn't.
say this.
He did.
I didn't. I quit.
Would it make you feel better if there's a wall on the side?
No. So I get the same feeling. You know those bridges in like New Orleans?
Yeah.
I get a little weirded out on those things
On
too.
the long ones?
Those ones that go high.
Oh,
The
yeah.
long ones I don't give a shit. Like, dude, if I can go on. I could do the Key West Bridge. I could fucking somersault all the way down that motherfucker. But
I want to
those
see him somersault once.
those bridges. So same thing. There's one of those bridges in NorCal that goes over the deltas and shit, right? So these bridges are super tall and they're fucking like pencils. Like they're super thin. You know what I mean?
But
So-
the Golden Gate don't bother you.
No, because it's huge.
I don't know, that makes sense to me.
Fucking way off
It's
the
huge.
water though.
Yeah, but like, dude.
But how you gonna fall off that motherfucker is the point, right?
Yeah, like, dude, I gotta really fuck up to fall off.
You gotta go over the wall to fall off the tall one.
Dude, on the Golden Gate Bridge, you can literally at 100 miles an hour hit the guardrail and you're going to land into the footpath.
Yeah, that's
you know what I
true.
mean?
That's
As
true.
opposed to one of the bridges I'm talking about are those 2-lane bridges that are like the width of this room, basically, and you're going fucking thousands of feet in the air is what it feels like.
Thousands.
Thousands.
For
Dude, you don't need to do this. You don't need to go up that mountain, man. It doesn't. I don't think. You ain't gotta prove it, man.
Whatever, man.
We don't think that much anyway, so it's all.
Have
good.
you done the one leaving Crystal Beach? Well, you always go back to
No,
Galveston
we
side.
did the Galveston side. But same thing. I imagine it's very similar to the ones that were in New
Because
Orleans.
they had to have the ships to go underneath
Yeah.
it, so it's big, steep bridge. It's way up there, but
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
No,
I don't
mean,
like that shit.
fuck that shit.
No, we get up there. You tell you guys talk about going. I'll just be like, go ahead. Don't care,
Dude,
Fuck
it was an immediate regret though. As soon as like I didn't
turning
go,
around or going up.
no, turning
going.
around. Yeah, like it was immediate regret in the fact that like I
Did you
wish.
feel like you failed?
yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
Like
That's why I
wish-
wouldn't even start because I'd get the same feeling if I started it. That's why I just wouldn't even. I wouldn't start unless I felt like I was gonna do the whole
Yeah,
thing.
we was like to like mile 11 or 12, and he stopped.
Out of how many?
This is 18 or 19.
Yeah. Yeah, see, then I'd have felt like I failed, which
Yeah.
is why I wouldn't do it from the first
So I
place.
definitely
When the
felt-
trees quit being on the side of the road, he's like, fuck this.
Yeah. Like I said, you can go, and then the whole time it's like, well, we were waiting on you guys to come back down.
Yeah.
And I'm
It
like,
seemed like forever.
it didn't seem like the worst thing, but it's like we were talking, because it was me, Matt, and Larry hanging out. Other dudes quit with me, so it wasn't like I was
he
alone.
wasn't the only bitch.
Yeah.
Trust me, though, if I did it, I'd be giving you way more shit than he is.
Oh yeah,
so.
for sure. And so we were talking about it, and like the whole concept kept coming up. It's like people race up and down this shit.
Dude, they're fucking nuts.
But there's a lot of people who do crazy shit I wouldn't fucking do.
Yeah, right?
I don't feel like I got to do everything everybody else is going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not swimming
Agreed.
with
There's,
sharks.
there's plenty
Fuck
of
that.
crazy shit people do, even just on motorcycles or cars or something that I
Yeah.
ain't no way in hell I'm doing.
Yeah, fuck that.
So what ended up happening is we did that, and then 2 days later we were with Brian TPJ and we were riding up that other mountain where the dudes were doing the hang gliding
Mount
off
Rose,
of.
yeah.
And there was a part of me that started having PTSD from that last one.
There's a guardrail.
You got a lot of PTSD.
Well, you know,
These dudes were jumping off the side. This one on the hang gliders. That shit was badass.
there was just the part, man. It was like, what I realized is like I just was getting into my head. You know what I mean? It wasn't that anything. I just think I was thinking too much about the what ifs and not about like literally having anxiety.
Yeah,
right.
just-
That is the definition of what I was doing.
I just felt you're gonna die one day because you feel like you got to do all these things that you
Thinking
don't
about
got to
it.
do.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it too much.
But there's a part of me that feels like I do need to do all these things because I feel, dude, I literally count my accomplishments as if it was like, and not even accomplishments like if you walk into my office, I have like this degree and that
He's
degree.
got that check mark beside
I'm
that.
like, I had a kid. I survived 1 kid child support. I've been divorced. Like I have this like literal checklist of all these fucked up things that a human can do in life. And I'm proud of those things. You know what I'm saying? DWI. I want to put like all these like accomplishments that nobody considers them accomplishments
Wait,
on the wall.
Hold on.
Divorce.
Did you just wait? Did you just put
A DW as an
no,
accomplishment?
wait, no. I'm trying to put it.
I survived
a DWI, divorce, child support, and his kids. Which one isn't like the others? That's what you group your kids with.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's bad accomplishment.
Well, when I write up my bills every month, there's kids on there. So they get classified in all kinds of different scenarios. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're not a bill. You have a conscience. No, but, you know, I look at it like I literally think about that shit all the time. Like, fuck, man. Like, it's weird to have an experience going through all these different things in life, even if it's just the things that nobody wants to ever experience. But, you know. It's something about being that dude. I've always said that in hindsight, I would love to be that old dude that's done it all. That's experienced it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had the best fucking love of your life, had the worst, had kids, had this, experienced, different things throughout your lifetime. I feel like it, I don't think that a lot of those things I would have chosen to go through. But through circumstances and choices I made along the path, it pushes me down those roads, and then you have to, live with those consequences. So it just seems fun and cool. And in hindsight, now that I'm not on probation,
It makes you a more well-rounded person, though. More experience, more knowledge of.
probably most people, but not me.
Other
Like
shit.
I want to boast it up and make it like an accomplishment or something. I've had a child support.
You're putting the pussy on the pedestal.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like weird to think that way, but I have a bad habit of making everything in a competition in a sense, even if it's not like I want to see you lose, but and it's just I'm a competitive dude. That's what
Right.
drives me. You know what I mean?
I get that.
So-
I'm competitive.
I mean, you can't fuck with me on cornhole, but
Here we go again.
when his wife comes around, he starts winning all of a sudden. But when
Because
it's
I got to have a good partner. If my partner don't score no points, I can't.
Mike doesn't play
fucking-
corn. You play cornhole ever?
Sometimes if it's around, I don't ever set it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
best
we
I
can
can
square up after this.
put. I think it takes more than one person. I don't do a whole lot of things
Takes more
that
than one person.
I'm never with other people to play
Yeah,
with.
Come on, dude. You have more. Mike, you're like the most loved dude. More men love you than probably should.
It's because they're never around
I
me.
don't know how to take that.
It's like you want to tell like most dudes, like, dude, all the bitches love you, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like realistically, dude, like you're like the man's man of all the men I know.
All the men love you.
Yeah. That's kind of a cool thing. It's like, I mean, think about it. We all ride bikes, and who gives a shit about it but other dudes? Like,
Yeah.
So we're into making other
Everybody
dudes
got
like us.
into Harleys because they thought they was going to get chicks, but all you did is a bunch of guy friends.
Yeah. Got a lot of cool guy friends. So now it's like we're super, like this is our generation of motorcycles where we're promoting like the chopper lifestyle. It's not like chicks and tits and cocaine and
Yeah.
it's like
I mean, I wish that would come back.
it's group chats and friendships.
Dude trips.
Yeah. It's like Wild Hogs, but a little bit more edgy.
Is it?
Is it?
Del Flagos.
Oh, I love it.
Where's the more edgy part? Haven't found that yet.
Oh man, Yeah, I don't know.
That's what we're working on.
Yeah, I mean, you're literally killing the dream right now, Mike.
Are tall socks edgier than chaps?
Ooh.
They both have the equal amount of safety, right?
No.
Dress for the slide.
Dude, we were in remember in Neptune's last year and that dude was telling us.
Fucking queer on that BMW.
Yeah, this guy,
The fluorescent suits that they wear, you know?
yeah, so this dude, I think it was a dad and his son. Great male bonding they had. That's pretty cool. But they pulled up to Neptune's while we were there just fucking sightseeing and having clam chowder and shit. And these dudes looked at our shoes and go, y'all rode from Texas in those shoes? That we just pulled some dude's foot off the road 10 miles ago. And I'm like,
Yeah.
way to fucking kill our dreams, bro. Like, we started wearing these shoes because you Californians, you know what I'm saying? It's a mess.
Yeah, they had fucking leather boots on and fluorescent suits.
You're a boot guy, though, when you ride, right?
Sometimes.
You wear boots normally, though.
I used to only wear boots for a long time. I mean, just because that's what I worked in, and pretty much I wore
Your work attire? Yeah.
my work attire all the time. But no, I mean, I'll usually wear my Adidas now when I ride, and I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
Either Red Wings or Adidas is pretty much all I ever wear. So
Yeah. So what, are you allowed to talk about your bike being in the book?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to talk about the book. That's Nick's stuff. He talked about it on his.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
I don't remember exactly what all he said, so I don't want to say some stuff he don't want to talk
Well,
about.
yes, Nick has to put enough information out there to make it. Well, I guess in a sense, it seems like it's like I don't know what the right term is, but it's like it's a book for people that know about it, I guess. Like he's not. I hate to speak for him, but maybe he's not trying to make a book that's going to be on Barnes and Noble shelves.
No, definitely not.
You know, it's like
It's for the FXR people.
yeah, which is cool, but it's like would be real cooler is if more people knew about it and they wanted it, but they couldn't get it because they had there's only so many copies.
But that's not Nick.
And then somebody like the Dixon Flannel of the book game,
Limited editions.
That's not Nick though.
all I know is I'm getting one as soon as it's pre-order. You think he's gonna do a pre-order or is it gonna be?
I don't know. We haven't discussed that. So
You can either confirm or deny.
yeah,
The
I'm pleading
situation.
Filth.
Cool. All right, we can wrap it up, man. We're at 2 hours, and this is a good time to stop because I have a tendency to carry these on forever. So, all right,
Nothing wrong with that.
let's go. Peace.
Later.
Thank you guys for checking that out. If you want to check out our sponsors, check out Clockworks on Instagram at Clockworks. GetClock.com, offer code FAST10 to save yourself some money on your purchase. Screamin' Speed and Fab on Instagram and ScreaminSpeedandFab.com. No G in the Screamin'. Offer code KTFU for 13% off. Dream Rides John on Instagram and TeamDreamRides.com. Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram and PaintHuffer.com. Fast Life 13 for 10% off. Thundermax EFI on Instagram and ShopTmax.com. And a very great offer code at Fast Life for 10% off. Lexan Moto on Instagram, Lexan-Moto.com. Fast Life for 15% off. SBC Performance on Instagram and SBCPerformance.com. Fast Life at checkout for 10% off. And last but not least, Invisivin on Instagram and Invisivin.com and save yourself 15% off with the offer code FASTLIFE. Thank you guys for checking this out. If you want to hear the second part, it is our Patreon. All it takes is $1 a month, and you support this podcast and hopefully get some more content and some giveaways. So check that out, fastlifegarage.com, link on the front page, and we'll see you back at the end of the week with some more podcasts. Peace.